Act 1 of Every Man in His Humour by Ben Jonson. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Every Man in His Humour. Dramatis Personae.
Noel, an Old Gentleman. Read by Todd.
Edward Noel, his son. Read by Rob Marland.
Brainworm, the Father's Man. Read by James Curran.
George Downright, a Plain Squire. Read by Algie Pug.
Well-bred, his half-brother. Read by Jim Gallagher.
Kitely, a Merchant. Read by Joseph Tabler.
Captain Bobadil, a Paul's Man. Read by Brad.
Master Stephen, a Country Gull. Prologue. Read by Alan Mapstone.
Master Matthew, the Town Gull. Read by T.J. Burns.
Thomas Cash,
Kitley's Cassia.
read by B. Danziger.
Oliver Cobb, a Water Bearer. Read by Thomas Peter.
Justice Clement, an Old Merry Magistrate. Read by Nemo.
Roger Formal, his clerk. Read by Eva Davis.
Servant. Read by Phone.
Dame Kitely, Kitely's wife. Read by Beth Thomas.
Mrs. Bridget, his sister. Read by Lian Yao.
Tib, Cobb's wife. Read by Sonia.
Stage directions read by Bhavya. Scene: London. Prologue.
Though need make many poets, and some such as art and nature have not bettered much, yet ours for want hath not so loved the stage, as he dare serve the ill customs of the age, or purchase your delight at such a rate, as for it he himself must justly hate. To make a child now swaddled, to proceed man, and then shoot up, in one beard and weed past 60 years, or, with 3 rusty swords, and help of some few foot and half-foot words, fight over York and Lancaster's King Jars, and in the tiring house bring wounds to scars. He rather prays you will be pleased to see one such today, as other plays should be, where neither chorus wafts you o'er the seas, nor creaking throne comes down the boys to please, nor nimble squib is seen to make afeard the gentlewomen, nor rolled bullet heard to say, "It thunders," nor tempestuous drum rumbles to tell you when the storm doth come, but deeds and language such as men do use, and persons such as comedy would choose, when she would show an image of the times, and sport with human follies, not with crimes. Except we make them such, by loving still our popular errors when we know they're ill. I mean such errors as you'll all confess, by laughing at them, they deserve no less. Which when you heartily do, there's hope left then, you, that have so graced monsters, may like men.
Act 1. Scene 1. A street. Enter Noel at the door of his house.
A goodly day toward, and a fresh morning. Brainworm!
Enter Brainworm.
Call up your young master. Bid him rise, sir. Tell him I have some business to employ him.
I will, sir, presently.
But hear you, sirrah, if he be at his book, disturb him not.
Very good, sir.
How happy yet should I esteem myself, could I, by any practice, wean the boy from one vain course of study he affects. He is a scholar, if a man may trust the liberal voice of fame in her report, of good account in both our universities, either of which hath favoured him with graces. but their indulgence must not spring in me a fond opinion that he cannot err. Myself was once a student, and indeed fed with the self-same humour he is now, dreaming on naught but idle poetry, that fruitless and unprofitable art, good unto none, but least to the professors, which then I thought the mistress of all knowledge. But since time and the truth have waked my judgment, and reason taught me better to distinguish the vain from the useful learnings.
Enter Master Stephen.
Cousin Stephen, what news with you that you are here so early?
Nothing, but in come to see how you do, uncle.
That's kindly done. You are welcome, coz.
Aye, I know that, sir. I would not have come else. How does my cousin Edward, uncle?
Oh, well, coz, go in and see. I doubt he be scarce stirring yet.
Uncle, afore I go in, can you tell me any have e'er a book of the science of hawking and hunting? I would fain borrow it.
Why, I hope you will not a hawking now, will you?
No, wuss, but I'll practise against next year, uncle. I have bought me a hawk, and a hood, and bells and all. I lack nothing but a book to keep it by.
Oh, most ridiculous.
Nay, look you now, you are angry, uncle. Why, you know an a man not have skill in hawking and hunting languages nowadays, I'll not give a rush for him. They are more studied than the Greek or the Latin. He is for no gallant's company without them. And by Gadslid, I scorn it, I, so I do, to be a consort for every humdrum. Hang them, scroyles, there's nothing in them in the world. What do you talk on it? Because I dwell in Ogston, I shall keep company with none but the archers of Finsbury, or the citizens that come a duck into the Islington ponds. A fine jest, i' faith. Slid, a gentleman mun show himself like a gentleman. Uncle, I pray you be not angry. I know what I have to do, I trow. I am no novice.
You are a prodigal, absurd coxcomb. Go to. Nay, never look at me. 'Tis I that speak. Take it as you will, sir. I'll not flatter you. Have you not yet found means enough to waste that which your friends have left you, but you must go cast away your money on a buzzard, and know not how to keep it when you have done? Oh, it is comely. This will make you a gentleman. Well, cousin, well, I see you are e'en past hope of all reclaim. Ay, so. Now you are told on't, you look another way.
What would you have me do?
What would I have you do? I'll tell you, kinsman. Learn to be wise, and practise how to thrive. That I would have you do, and not to spend your coin on every bauble that you fancy, or every foolish brain that humours you. I would not have you to invade each place, nor thrust yourself on all societies, till man's affections, or your own desert, should worthily invite you to your rank. He that is so respectless in his courses oft sells his reputation at cheap market. Nor would I you should melt away yourself in flashing bravery, lest, while you affect to make a blaze of gentry to the world, a little puff of scorn extinguish it, and you be left like an unsavoury snuff whose property is only to offend. I'd have you sober, and contain yourself, not that your sail be bigger than your boat, but moderate your expenses now at first, as you may keep the same proportion still, nor stand so much on your gentility, which is an airy and mere borrowed thing from dead men's dust and bones, and none of yours, except you make or hold it.
Enter a servant.
Who comes here?
Save you, gentlemen.
Nay, we do not stand much on our gentility, friend, yet you are welcome. and I assure you mine uncle here is a man of 1,000 a year, Middlesex land. He has but one son in all the world. I am his next heir. At the common law, Master Stephen, as simple as I stand here, if my cousin die, as there's a hope he will. I have a pretty living of my own too, besides, hard by here.
In good time, sir.
In good time, sir. Why, and in very good time, sir. You do not flout, friend, do you?
Not I, sir.
Not you, sir. You were best not, sir. And you should. Here be them can perceive it, and that quickly too. Go to, and they can give it again soundly too, and need be.
Why, sir, let this satisfy you. Good faith, I had no such intent.
Sir, and I thought you had, I would talk with you and that presently.
Good Master Stephen, so you may, sir, at your pleasure.
And so I would, sir, good my saucy companion, and you are out of my uncle's ground, I can tell you, though I do not stand upon my gentility neither, in't.
Cousin, will this ne'er be left?
Horse and base fellow, a mechanical serving man. By this cudgel, and 'twere not for shame, I would...
What would you do, you peremptory gull? If you cannot be quiet, get you hence. You see the honest man demeans himself modestly toward you, giving no reply to your unseasoned, quarrelling, rude fashion. And still you huff it, with a kind of carriage as void of wit as of humanity. Go, get you in. For heaven, I am ashamed thou hast a kinsman's interest in me.
Exit Master Stephen.
I pray, sir, is this Master Noel's house?
Yes, marry it is, sir.
I should inquire for a gentleman here, one Master Edward Noel. Do you know any such, sir, I pray you?
I should forget myself else, sir.
Are you the gentleman? Cry you mercy, sir. I was required by a gentleman in the city, as I rode out at this end of the town, to deliver you this letter, sir.
To me, sir? What do you mean? Pray, you remember your courtesy.
Reads.
To his most selected friend, Master Edward Nowell. What might the gentleman's name be, sir, that sent it? Nay, pray you be covered.
One Master Wellbred, sir.
Master Wellbred? A young gentleman, is he not?
The same, sir. Master Kitely married his sister, the rich merchant in the old Jewry.
You say very true. Brainworm!
Enter Brainworm.
Sir.
Make this honest friend drink here. Pray you, go in.
Exeunt Brainworm and servant.
This letter is directed to my son. Yet I am Edward Nowell too, and may, with the safe conscience of good manners, use the fellow's error to my satisfaction. Well, I will break it ope. Old men are curious, be it but for the style's sake and the phrase, to see if both do answer my son's praises, who is almost grown the idolater of this young Wellbred. What have we here? What's this?
Reads.
Why, Ned, I beseech thee, hast thou forsworn all thy friends in the old Jewry? Or dost thou think us all Jews that inhabit there? Yet, if thou dost, come over, and but see our frippery, change an old shirt for a whole smock with us. Do not conceive that antipathy between us and Hogsden, as was between Jews and hog's flesh. Leave thy vigilant father alone, to number over his green apricots, evening and morning, on the northwest wall. And I had been his son, I had saved him the labour long since, if taking in all the young wenches that pass by at the back door, and coddling every kernel of the fruit for them, would have served. But prithee, come over to me quickly this morning. I have such a present for thee. Our turkey company never sent the like to the Grand Signor. One is a rhymer, sir, of your own batch, your own leaven, but doth think himself poet-master of the town, willing to be shown, and worthy to be seen. The other, I will not venture his description with you, till you come, because I would have you make hither with an appetite. If the worst of 'em be not worth your journey, draw your bill of charges, as unconscionable as any Guildhall verdict will give it you, and you shall be allowed your viaticum. From the windmill. From the bordello it might come as well, the spittle or pict-hatch. Is this the man my son hath sung so, for the happiest wit, the choicest brain, the times have sent us forth? I know not what he may be in the arts, nor what in schools, but surely, for his manners, I judge him a profane and desolate wretch, worse by profession of such great good gifts, being the master of so loose a spirit. Why, what unhallowed ruffian would have writ in such a scurrilous manner to a friend? Why should he think I tell my apricots, or play the Hesperian dragon with my fruit, to watch it? Well, my son, I have thought you had had more judgment to have made election of your companions, than to have taken on trust such petulant jeering gamesters, that can spare no argument or subject from their jest. But I perceive affection makes a fool of any man too much the father. Brainworm!
Enter Brainworm.
Sir.
Is the fellow gone that brought this letter?
Yes, sir. A pretty while since.
And where is your young master?
In his chamber, sir.
He spake not with the fellow, did he?
No, sir. He saw him not.
Take you this letter, and deliver it to my son, but with no notice that I have opened it, on your life.
O Lord, sir, that were a jest indeed.
Exit.
I am resolved I will not stop his journey, nor practice any violent means to stay the unbridled course of youth in him. For that, restrained, grows more impatient, and in kind like to the eager. But the generous greyhound, who ne'er so little from his game withheld, turns head and leaps up at his holder's throat. There is a way of winning more by love and urging of the modesty than fear. Force works on servile natures, not the free. He that's compelled to goodness may be good, but 'tis but for that fit, where others, drawn by softness and example, get a habit. Then, if they stray, but warn them, and the same they should for virtue have done, they'll do for shame.
Exit. Scene 2. A room in Noble's house. Enter Edward Noble with a letter in his hand, followed by Brainworm.
Did he open it, sayest thou?
Yes, oh my word, sir, and read the contents.
That scarce contents me. What countenance, prithee, made he in the reading of it? Was he angry or pleased?
Nay, sir, I saw him not read it, nor open it, I assure your worship.
No? How knowest thou then that he did either?
Marry, sir, because he charged me, on my life, to tell nobody that he'd opened it, which, unless he'd done, he never would have feared to have it revealed.
That's true. Well, I thank thee, Brainworm.
Enter Stephen.
Oh, Brainworm, didst thou not see a fellow here in what shall call him doublet? He brought mine uncle a letter, he now.
Yes, Master Stephen, what of him?
Oh, I have such a mind to beat him. Where is he? Canst thou tell?
Faith, he is not of that mind. He is gone, Master Stephen.
Gone? Which way? When went he? How long since?
He is rid hence. He took horse at the street door.
And I stayed in the fields, whoresome scanderbag rogue. Oh, that I had but a horse to fetch him back again.
Why, you may have my master's gelding, to save your longing, sir.
But I have no boots, that's the spite on't.
Why, a fine wisp of hay, rolled hard, Master Stephen.
No, faith, it's no boot to follow him now. Let him e'en go and hang. Prithee, help to trust me a little. He does so vex me.
You'll be worst vexed when you're trussed, Master Stephen. Best keep unbraced, and walk yourself till you be cold. Your collar may founder you else.
By my faith, and so I will, now thou tell'st me on it. How dost thou like my leg, brainworm?
A very good leg, Master Stephen, but the woollen stocking does not commend it so well.
Foh, the stockings be good enough now summer is coming on for the dust. I'll have a pair of silk against winter that I go to dwell in the town. I think my leg would show in a silk hose.
Believe me, Master Stephen, rarely well.
In sadness I think it would. I have a reasonable good leg.
You have an excellent good leg, Master Stephen, but I cannot stay to praise it longer now, and I am very sorry for it.
Exit.
Another time will serve, brainworm. Gramercy for this. Slid. I hope he laughs not at me. And he do.
Here was a letter indeed to be intercepted by a man's father, and do him good with him. He cannot but think most virtuously both of me and the sender, sure, that make the careful costermonger of him in our familiar epistles. Well, if he read this with patience, I'll be gelt, and troll ballads for Master John Trundle yonder the rest of my mortality. It is true, and likely my father may have as much patience as another man, for he takes much physic, and oft taking physic makes a man very patient. But would your packet, Master Wellbred, had arrived at him in such a minute of his patience, then we had known the end of it, which now is doubtful, and threatens—
Seize Master Stephen.
What, my wise cousin? Nay, then I'll furnish our feast with one gull more toward the mess. He writes to me of a brace, and here's one, that's 3. Oh, for a 4th fortune! If ever thou it use thine eyes, I entreat thee.
Oh, now I see who he laughed at. He laughed at somebody in that letter. By this good light, and he had laughed at me.
How now, cousin Stephen? Melancholy?
Yes, a little. I thought you had laughed at me, cousin.
Why, what an I had, coz. What would you have done?
By this light I would have told mine uncle.
Nay, if you would have told your uncle, I did laugh at you, coz.
Did you indeed?
Yes, indeed.
Why then?
What then?
I am satisfied it is sufficient.
Why, be so, gentle coz, and, I pray you, let me entreat a courtesy of you. I am sent for this morning by a friend in the old Jewry, to come to him. It is but crossing over the fields to Moorgate. Will you bear me company? I protest it is not to draw you into bond, or any plot against the state, coz.
Sir, that's all one an it were. You shall command me twice so far as Moorgate, to do you good in such a matter. Do you think I would leave you? I protest.
No, no, you shall not protest, coz.
By my frackings, but I will by your leave. I'll protest more to my friend than I'll speak of at this time.
You speak very well, coz.
Nay, not so neither. You shall pardon me. But I speak to serve my turn.
Your turn, coz? Do you know what you say? A gentleman of your sorts, parts, carriage, and estimation, to talk of your turn in this company, and to me alone, like a tankard bearer at a conduit. Fie! A wight that, hitherto, his every step hath left the stamp of a great foot behind him, as every word the saviour of a strong spirit, and he, this man, so graced gilded, or, to use a more fit metaphor, so tenfold by nature, as not 10 housewives pewter. Again, a good time, shoes more bright to the world than he. And he, as I said last, so I say again, and still shall say it, This man! To conceal such real ornaments as these, and shadow their glory as a milliner's wife does her wrought stomacher with a smoky lawn or a black cypress. Oh, coz, it cannot be answered, go not about it. Drake's old ship at Deptford may sooner circle the world again. Come, wrong not the quality of your desert with looking downward, coz, but hold up your head, so, and let the idea of what you are be portrayed in your face, that men may read in your physiognomy, here within this place is to be seen the true, rare, and accomplished monster, or miracle of nature, which is all one. What think you of this, coz?
Why, I do think of it, and I will be more proud and melancholy and gentlemanlike than I have been, I'll ensure you.
Why, that's resolute, Master Stephen. Now, if I can but hold him up to his height, as it is happily begun, it will do well for a suburb humour. We mayhap have a match with the city, and play him for £40. Come, coz.
I'll follow you.
Follow me? You must go before.
Nay, and I will. Pray you show me good cousin.
Exeunt. Scene 3. The lane before Cobb's house. Enter Master Matthew.
I think this be the house. What ho!
Enter Cobb.
Who's there? Oh, Master Matthew. Give your worship good morrow.
What, Cobb? How dost thou, good Cobb? Dost thou inhabit here, Cobb?
Ay, sir. I and my lineage have kept a poorhouse here in our days.
Thy lineage, Monsieur Cobb. What lineage? What lineage?
Why, sir, an ancient lineage, and a princely. My ancestry came from a king's belly, no worse man, and yet no man either, by your worship's leave. I did lie in that. But Herring, the king of fish, from his belly I proceed, one of the monarchs of the world, I assure you. The first red herring that was broiled in Adam and Eve's kitchen do I fetch my pedigree from, by the Harrod's book. His cob was my mighty great-grandfather.
Why mighty, I pray thee?
Oh, it was a mighty while ago, sir, and a mighty great cob.
How know'st thou that?
How know I? Why, I smell his ghost ever and anon.
Smell a ghost? Oh, unsavoury jest. And the ghost of a herring, Cobb?
Ay, sir. With favour of your worship's nose, Master Matthew, why not the ghost of a herring cob as well as the ghost of Rasher Bacon?
Roger Bacon, thou wouldst say.
I say Rasher Bacon. They were both broiled on the coals, and a man may smell broiled meat, I hope. You are a scholar. Absolve me that now.
Oh, raw ignorance. Cobb, canst thou show me of a gentleman, one Captain Bobadil, where his lodging is?
Oh, my guest, sir, you mean?
Thy guest, alas!
Why do you laugh, sir? Do you not mean Captain Bobadil?
Cobb, pray thee advise thyself well. Do not wrong the gentleman, and thyself too. I dare be sworn he scorns thy house. He lodge in such a base, obscure place as thy house. Tut, I know his disposition so well. He would not lie in thy bed if thou'dst give it him.
I will not give it him, though, sir. Mass, I thought someone was in it. We could not get him to bed all night. Well, sir, though he lie not on my bed, he lies on my bench. And please you to go up, sir, you shall find him with 2 cushions under his head, and his cloak wrapped about him, as though he had neither won nor lost. And yet I warrant he ne'er cast better in his life than he has done to-night.
Why, was he drunk?
Drunk, sir? You hear not me say so. Perhaps he swallowed a tavern token or some such device, sir. I have nothing to do with all. I deal with water and not with wine. Give me my tankard there, ho! God be with you, sir. It's 6 o'clock. I should have carried 2 turns by this. What ho, my stopple, come!
Enter Tib with a water tankard.
Lie in a water-bearer's house, a gentleman of his havings. Well, I'll tell him my mind.
What, Tib? Show this gentleman up to the captain.
Exit Tib with Master Matthew.
Oh, in my house with a brazen head now. Faith, it would e'en speak mo fools yet. You should have some now would take this Master Matthew to be a gentleman, at the least. His father's an honest man, a worshipful fishmonger, and so forth, and now does he creep and wriggle into acquaintance with all the brave gallants about the town, such as my guest is. My guest is a fine man, and they flout him invincibly. He useth every day to a merchant's house where I serve water, one Master Kitely's in the old Jewry, and here's the jest. He is in love with my master's sister, Mrs. Bridget, and calls her mistress. And there he will sit you a whole afternoon sometimes, reading of these same abominable viola. A pox on him, I cannot abide them. Rascally verses. Poetry. Poetry. And speaking of interludes, 'twill make a man burst to hear him. The wenches, they do so jeer, and tee-hee at him. Well, should they do so much to me, I'd forswear them all by the foot of Pharaoh. There's an oath. How many water-bearers shall you hear swear such an oath? Oh, I have a guest. He teaches me. He does swear the legiblest of any man christened. By St. George, the foot of Pharaoh, the body of me, as I am a gentleman and a soldier, such dainty oaths! Withal, he does take this same filthy roguish tobacco, the finest and cleanliest. It would do a man good to see the fumes come forth as tonnels. Well, he owes me 40 shillings. My wife lent him out of her purse, by 6pence at a time, besides his lodging. I would I had it. I shall have it, he says, the next action. Helter-skelter, hang, sorrow, care, or kill a cat, up tails all, and a louse for the hangman.
Exit. Scene 4. A room in Cobb's house. Bobadil discovered lying on a bench.
Hostess, hostess.
Enter Tib.
What say you, sir?
A cup of thy small beer, sweet hostess.
Sir, there's a gentleman below would speak with you.
A gentleman? Odd sir, I am not within.
My husband told him you were, sir.
What a plague, what meant he?
Matthew, below.
Captain Bobadil.
Who's there? Take away the basin, good hostess. Come up, sir.
He would desire you to come up, cleanly house here.
Enter Matthew.
Save you, sir. Save you, Captain.
Gentle Master Matthew, is it you, sir? Down.
Thank you, good Captain. You may see I am somewhat audacious.
Not so, sir. I was requested to supper last night by a sort of gallants where you were wished for, and drunk to, I assure you.
Vouchsafe me by whom, good Captain?
Marry, by young Wellbred and others. Why, hostess, stool here for this gentleman.
No haste, sir. 'Tis very well.
Body of me, it was so late ere we parted last night, I can scarce open my eyes yet. I was but new risen as you came. How passes the day abroad, sir? You can tell.
Faith, some half hour to 7. Now, trust me, you have an exceeding fine lodging here, very neat and private.
Ay, sir, sit down, I pray you. Master Matthew, in any case, possess no gentleman of our acquaintance with notice of my lodging.
Who, I, sir? No.
Not that I need to care who know it, for the cabin is convenient. But in regard I would not be too popular, and generally visited as some are.
True, Captain, I conceive you.
For do you see, sir, by the heart of valour in me, except it be some peculiar and choice spirit to whom I am extraordinarily engaged as yourself, or so I could not extend thus far.
Oh, Lord, sir, I resolve so.
I confess I love a cleanly and quiet privacy, above all the tumult and roar of fortune. What new book have you there, what? By Hieronymo?
Aye. Did you ever see it acted? Is it not well penned?
While Master Matthew reads, Bobadil makes himself ready.
Well penned? I would fain see all the poets of these times pen such another play as that was. They'll prate and swagger, and keep a stir of art and devices, when, as I am a gentleman, read 'em, they are the most shallow, pitiful, barren fellows that live upon the face of the earth again.
Indeed, here are a number of fine speeches in this book. O eyes, no eyes, but fountains fraught with tears. There's a conceit. Fountains fraught with tears. O life, no life, but lively form of death. Another. O world, no world, but mass of public wrongs. A third. Confused and filled with murder and misdeeds. A fourth. Oh, the Muses. Is it not excellent? Is it not simply the best that ever you heard, Captain? Ha! How do you like it?
'Tis good.
To thee, the purest object to my sense, the most refined essence heaven covers. Send I these lines, wherein I do commence the happy state of turtle-billing lovers. If they prove rough, unpolished, harsh, and rude, haste made the waste. Thus mildly I conclude.
Nay, proceed. Where's this?
This, sir, a toy of mine own, in my non-age, the infancy of my muses. But when will you come and see my study? Good faith, I can show you some very good things I have done of late. That boot becomes your leg passing well, Captain, methinks.
So, it's the fashion gentlemen now use.
Troth, Captain, and now you speak of the fashion, Master Wellbred's elder brother and I are fallen out exceedingly. This other day I happened to enter into some discourse of a hanger, which, I assure you, both for fashion and workmanship, was most peremptory, beautiful, and gentlemanlike. Yet he condemned, and cried it down for the most pied and ridiculous that ever he saw.
Squire Downright, the half-brother, was not?
Aye, sir, he.
Hang him, Rook. Why, he has no more judgment than a malt horse. By St. George, I wonder you'd lose a thought upon such an animal, the most peremptory, absurd clown of Christendom, this day he is holden. I protest to you, as I am a gentleman and a soldier, I ne'er changed with his like. By his discourse he should eat nothing but hay. He was born for the manger, pannier, or pack-saddle. He has not so much as a good phrase in his belly, but all old iron and rusty proverbs, a good commodity for some smith to make hobnails of.
Aye, and he thinks to carry it away with his manhood still, where he comes. He brags he will give me the bastinado, as I hear.
How, he, the bastinado? How came he by that word, trow?
Nay, indeed, he said, cudgel me. I termed it so for my more grace.
That may be, for I was sure it was none of his word. But when said he so?
Faith, yesterday, they say. A young gallant, a friend of mine, told me so.
By the foot of Pharaoh, and 'twere my case now, I should send him a chartle presently. The bastinado, a most proper and sufficient dependence, warranted by the great Carranza. Come hither, you shall chartle him. I'll show you a trick or two you shall kill him with at pleasure. The first toccata, if you will, by this air.
Indeed, you have absolute knowledge in the mystery, I have heard, sir.
Of whom have you heard it, I beseech you?
Troth, I have heard it spoken of divers that you have very rare and in one breath utterable skill, sir.
By heaven, no, not I. No skill in the earth, some small rudiments in the science, as to know my time, distance, or so. I have professed it more for noblemen and gentlemen's use than mine own practice, I assure you. Hostess, accommodate us with another bed-staff here quickly. Lend us another bed-staff. The woman does not understand the words of action. Look you, sir. Exalt not your point above this state at any hand, and let your poniard maintain your defence. Thus. Give it the gentleman, and leave us.
Exit Tib.
So, sir, come on. Oh, twine your body more about, that you may fall to a more sweet, comely, gentlemanlike guard. So. Indifferent. Hollow your body more, sir. Thus now. Stand fast to your left leg. Note your distance. Keep your due proportion of time. Oh, you disorder your point most irregularly.
How is the bearing of it now, sir?
Oh, out of measure ill. A well-experienced hand would pass upon you at pleasure.
How mean you, sir? Pass upon me?
Why thus, sir, make a thrust at me.
Master Matthew pushes at Bobadil.
Come in upon the answer, control your point, and make a full career at the body. The best practised gallants of the time name it the passado, a most desperate thrust, believe it.
Well, come, sir.
Why, you do not manage your weapon with any facility or grace to invite me. I have no spirit to play with you. Your dearth of judgment renders you tedious.
But one venue, sir.
Venue, fie! The most gross denomination as ever I heard. Oh, the staccato while you live, sir! Note that. Come, put on your cloak, and we'll go to some private place where you are acquainted, some tavern or so, and have a bit. I'll send for one of these fencers, and he shall breathe you by my direction, and then I will teach you your trick. You shall kill him with it at the first, if you please. Why, I will learn you, by the true judgment of the eye, hand, and foot, to control your enemy's point in the world. Should your adversary confront you with a pistol, 'twere nothing by this hand. You should, by the same rule, control his bullet in a line except it were hail shot, and spread. What money have you about you, Master Matthew?
Faith, I have not passed a 2 shilling or so.
'Tis somewhat with the least, but come, we will have a bunch of radish and salt to taste our wine, and a pipe of tobacco to close the orifice of the stomach, and then we'll call upon young Wellbred. Perhaps we shall meet this Corydon his brother there, and put him to the question.
End of Act 1. Act 2 of Every Man in His Humour by Ben Jonson. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 2. Scene 1. The Old Jury. A hall in Kitely's house. Enter Kitely, Cash, and Downright.
Thomas, come hither. There lies a note within upon my desk. Here, take my key. It is no matter, neither. Where is the boy?
Within, sir. In the warehouse.
Let him tell over straight that Spanish gold, and weigh it with the pieces of 8. Do you see the delivery of those silver stuffs to Master Lucar? Tell him, if he will, he shall have the Grogans at the rate I told him, and I will meet him on the exchange anon.
Good, sir.
Exit.
Do you see that fellow, brother Downright?
Aye, what of him?
He is a jewel, brother. I took him of a child at my door, and christened him, gave him mine own name, Thomas, since bred him at the hospital. Well, proving a toward imp, I called him home, and taught him so much as I have made him my cashier, and given him who had none a surname, Cash, and find him in this place so full of faiths that I durst trust my life into his hands.
So would not I in any bastard's brother, as it is like he is, although I knew myself his father. But you said you had somewhat to tell me, gentle brother. What is't? What is't?
Faith, I am very loath to utter it, as fearing it may hurt your patience, but that I know your judgment is of strength against the nearness of affection.
What need this circumstance? Pray you, be direct.
I will not say how much I do ascribe unto your friendship, nor in what regard I hold your love, but let my past behaviour and usage of your sister both confirm how well I have been affected to your—
You are too tedious. Come to the matter. The matter.
Then, without further ceremony, thus, my brother Wellbred, sir, I know not how, of late is much declined in what he was, and greatly altered in his disposition. When he came first to lodge here in my house, ne'er trust me, if I were not proud of him, methought he bare himself in such a fashion, so full of man and sweetness in his carriage, and what was chief, he showed not borrowed in him, but all he did became him as his own, and seemed as perfect, proper, and possessed, as breath with life, or colour with the blood. But now his course is so irregular, so loose, affected, and deprived of grace, and he himself withal so far fallen off from that first place, as scarce no note remains to tell men's judgments where he lately stood. He is grown a stranger to all due respect, forgetful of his friends, and not content to stale himself in all societies. He makes my house here common as a mart, a theatre, a public receptacle for giddy humour and deceased riot, and here as in a tavern or a stew's. He and his wild associates spend their hours in repetition of lascivious jests, swear, leap, drink, dance, and revel night by night, control my servants, and indeed what not?
Staines, I know not what I should say to him in the whole world. He values me at a cracked 3 farthings, for aught I see. It will never out of the flesh that's bred in the bone. I have told him enough, one would think, if that would serve. But counsel to him is as good as a shoulder of button to a sick horse. Well, he knows what to trust to, for George. Let him spend and domineer till his heart ache. And he think to be relieved by me when he has got into one of his city bounds, the counters. He has the wrong sow by the ear, i' faith, and claps his dish at the wrong man's door. I'll lay my hand on my halfpenny ere I part with it to fetch him out, I'll assure him.
Nay, good brother, let it not trouble you thus.
'Sdeath, he mads me. I could eat my very spur leathers for anger. But why are you so tame? Why do you not speak to him, and tell him how he disquiets your house?
Oh, there are divers reasons to dissuade me. But would yourself vouchsafe to travail in it, though but with plain and easy circumstance? It would both come much better to his sense, and savour less of stomach or of passion. You are his elder brother, and that title both gives and warrants your authority, which, by your presence seconded, must breed a kind of duty in him and regard. Whereas if I should intimate the least, it would but add contempt to his neglect. Heap worse on ill, make up a pile of hatred, that in the rearing would come tottering down, in the ruin bury all our love. Nay, more than this, brother, if I should speak, he would be ready, from his heat of humour, and overflowing of the vapour in him, to blow the ears of his familiars with the false breath of telling what disgraces and low disparagements I had put upon him, whilst they, sir, to relieve him in the fable, make their loose comments upon every word, gesture, or look I use, mock me all over, from my flat cap unto my shining shoes, and out of their impetuous rioting fantasies beget some slander that shall dwell with me. And what would that be, think you? Marry, this they would give out, because my wife is fair, myself but lately married, and my sister here sojourning a virgin in my house, that I were jealous, nay, as sure as death, that they would say, and how that I had quarrelled my brother purposely, thereby to find an apt pretext to banish them from my house.
Mas, perhaps so. They're like enough to do it.
Brother, they would believe it, so should I, like one of these penurious quicksalvers, but set the bills up to mine own disgrace, and try experiments upon myself, lend scorn and envy opportunity to stab my reputation and good name.
Enter Master Matthew struggling with Bobadil.
I will speak to him.
Speak to him. Away! By the foot of Pharaoh, you shall not. You shall not do him that grace. The time of day to you gentlemen of the house is Master Wellbred stirring.
How then? What should he do?
Gentlemen of the house, it is to you. Is he within, sir?
He came not to his lodging tonight, sir, I assure you.
Why do you hear? You?
The gentleman citizen hath satisfied me. I'll talk to no scavenger.
Exeunt Bobadil and Matthew.
How? Scavenger? Stay, sir, stay.
Nay, brother, downright.
Hurt. Stand you away, so you love me.
You shall not follow him now, I pray you, brother. Good faith, you shall not. I will overrule you.
Ah, scavenger. Well, go to. I say little, but by this good day, God forgive me, I should swear, if I put up so, say I am the rankest cow that ever pissed. Staines, an I swallow this, I'll ne'er draw my sword in the sight of Fleet Street again while I live. I'll sit in a barn with Madge Howlett and catch mice first. Scavenger! Hurt! And I'll go near to fill up that huge tumbrel stop of yours with somewhat, and I have good luck. Your gargantua breech cannot carry it away so.
Oh, do not fret yourself thus. Never think on it.
These are my brother's consorts. These are his comrades, his walking mates. He's a gallant cavaliero, too, right hangman cut. Let me not live, and I could not find it in my heart to swinge the whole gang of 'em, one after another, and begin with him first. I am grieved it should be said he is my brother, and take these courses. Well, as he brews, so shall he drink, for George again. Yet he shall hear on't, and that tightly too, and I live, i' faith.
But, brother, let your reprehension then run in an easy current, not o'er high carried with rashness or devouring choler, but rather use the soft persuading way, whose powers will work more gently, and compose the imperfect thoughts you labour to reclaim, more winning than enforcing the consent.
Aye, let me alone for that, I warrant you.
How now?
Bell rings.
Oh, the bell rings to breakfast. Brother, I pray you go in, and bear my wife company till I come. I'll but give order for some dispatch of business to my servants.
Exit downright. Enter Cobb with his tankard.
What, Cobb? Our maids will have you by the back, i' faith, for coming so late this morning.
Perhaps so, sir. Take heed somebody have not them by the belly for walking so late in the evening.
Exit.
Well, yet my troubled spirits somewhat eased, though not reposed in that security as I could wish. But I must be content, howe'er I set a face on to the world. Would I had lost this finger at a venture, so well bred, had ne'er lodged within my house. Why, it cannot be, where there is such resort of wanton gallants and young revellers, that any woman should be honest long. Is it like that factious beauty will preserve the public weal of chastity unshaken, when such strong motives muster and make head against her single peace? No, beware. When mutual appetite doth meet to treat, and spirits of one kind and quality come once to parley in the pride of blood, it is no slow conspiracy that follows. Well, to be plain, if I but thought the time had answered their affections, all the world should not persuade me but I were a cuckold. Marry, I hope they have not got that start, for opportunity hath balked them yet, and shall do still, while I have eyes and ears to attend the impositions of my heart. My presence shall be as an iron bar twixt the conspiring motions of desire. Yea, every look or glance mine eye ejects shall check occasion, as one doth his slave when he forgets the limits of prescription.
Enter Dame Kitely and Bridget.
Sister Bridget, pray you fetch down the rose water, above in the closet.
Exit Bridget.
Sweetheart, will you come in to breakfast?
And she have overheard me now.
I pray thee, good muss, we stay for you.
By heaven, I would not for 1,000 angels.
What ail you, sweetheart? Are you not well? Speak, good muss.
Troth, my head aches extremely on a sudden.
Dame Kitely, putting her hand to his forehead.
Oh, the Lord!
How now? What?
Alas, how it burns! Muss, keep you warm. Good truth it is this new disease. There's a number are troubled withal. For love's sake, sweetheart, come in out of the air.
How simple and how subtle are her answers! A new disease, and many troubled with it? Why, true, she heard me, all the world to nothing.
I pray thee, good sweetheart, come in. The air will do you harm, in troth.
The air, she has me in the wind. Sweetheart, I'll come to you presently. 'Twill away, I hope.
Pray heaven it do.
Exit.
A new disease, I know not new or old, but it may well be called poor mortal's plague, for like a pestilence it doth infect the houses of the brain. First it begins solely to work upon the fantasy, filling her seat with such pestiferous air as soon corrupts the judgment, and from thence sends like contagion to the memory, still each to other giving the infection, which as a subtle vapour spreads itself confusedly through every sensitive part, till not a thought or motion in the mind be free from the black poison of suspect. Ah, but what misery is it to know this, or knowing it to want the mind's erection in such extremes! Well, I will once more strive, in spite of this black cloud, myself to be, and shake the fever off that thus shakes me.
Exit. Scene 2. Moorfields. Enter Brainworm disguised like a maimed soldier.
Slide. I cannot choose but laugh to see myself translated thus, from a poor creature to a creator. For now must I create an intolerable sort of lies, or my present profession loses the grace, and yet the lie, to a man of my coat, is as ominous a fruit as the fico. O sir, it holds for good polity ever to have that outwardly in vilest estimation, that inwardly is the most dear to us. So much for my borrowed shape. Well, the troth is, my old master intends to follow my young master, Dryfoot, over the moorfields to London this morning. Now, I, knowing of this hunting match, or rather conspiracy, and to insinuate with my young master, for so must we that are blue waiters, and men of hope and service do, or perhaps we may wear motley at the year's end, and who wears motley, you know, have got me afore in this disguise, determining here to lie in ambuscato, and intercept him in the midway, if I can but get his cloak, his purse, and his hat, nay, anything to cut him off, that is, to stay his journey. Vini, viti, vici, I may say with Captain Caesar, I am made forever. In faith. Well, now I must practice to get the true garb of one of these lance knights, my arm here, and my old doso, my young master and his cousin, Master Stephen, as I am true counterfeit man of war, and no soldier.
Enter Edward Noble and Stephen.
So, sir, and how then, cuz?
Sir, I have lost my purse, I think.
How? Lost your purse? Where? When had you it?
I cannot tell. Stay.
Slide. I'm afraid they will know me. Could I get by them?
What, have you it?
No, I think I was bewitched.
Cries.
Nay, do not weep the loss. Hang it, let it go.
Oh, it's here. No, and it had been lost, I had not cared. But for a jet ring Mistress Mary sent me.
A jet ring? Oh, the poesy, the poesy?
Fine, i' faith. Though fancy sleep, my love is deep. Meaning that though I did not fancy her, yet she loved me dearly.
Most excellent.
And then I sent her another, and my posy was, the deeper the sweeter, I'll be judged by St. Peter.
How by St. Peter? I do not conceive that.
Marry, St. Peter is to make up the metre.
Well, there the saint was, your good patron. He helped you at your need. Well, thank him, thank him.
I cannot take leave on him so. I will venture, come what will.
Comes forward.
Gentlemen, please you change a few crowns for a very excellent blade here. I am a poor gentleman, a soldier, one that, in the better state of my fortunes, scorned so mean a refuge. But now it is the humour of necessity to have it so. You seem to be gentlemen, well affected to martial men, else I should rather die with silence than live with shame. However, vouchsafe to remember it is my want speaks, not myself. This condition agrees not with my spirit.
Where hast thou served?
May it please you, sir, in all the late wars of Bohemia, Hungary, Dilamata, Poland, where not, sir. I have been a poor servitor by sea and land any time this 14 years, and followed the fortunes of the best commanders of Christendom. I was twice shot at the taking of Aleppo, once in the relief of Vienna. I have been at Marseilles, Naples, and the Adriatic Gulf. A gentleman's slave in the galleys, thrice, where I was most dangerously shot in the head, through both the thighs, and yet, being thus maimed, I am void of maintenance, nothing left me but my scars, the noted marks of my resolution.
How will you sell this rapier, friend?
Generous sir, I refer it to your own judgment. You are a gentleman. Give me what you please.
True, I am a gentleman, I know that, friend. But what though? I pray you say, what would you ask?
I assure you, the blade may become the side or thigh of the best prince of Europe.
Ay, with a velvet scabbard, I think.
Nay, an't be mine, it shall have a velvet scabbard, cos, that's flat. I'd not wear it as it is, and you would give me an angel.
At your worship's pleasure, sir. Nay, 'tis a more pure Toledo.
I had rather it were a Spaniard. But tell me, what shall I give you for it? And it had a silver hilt.
Come, come, you shall not buy it. Hold, there's a shilling, fellow. Take thy rapier.
Why, but I will buy it now, because you say so. And there's another shilling, fellow. I scorn to be outbidden. What, shall I walk with a cudgel like Higginbottom, and may have a rapier for money?
You may buy one in the city.
Tut, I'll buy this in the field, so I will. I have a mind to it, because 'tis a field rapier. Tell me your lowest price.
You shall not buy it, I say.
By this money, but I will, though I give more than 'tis worth.
Come away, you are a fool.
Friend, I am a fool, that's granted, but I'll have it for that word's sake. Follow me for your money.
At your service, sir.
Exeunt. Scene 3. Another part of Moorfields. Enter Novell.
I cannot lose the thought yet of this letter sent to my son, nor leave to admire the change of manners, and the breeding of our youth within the kingdom, since myself was one. When I was young, he lived not in the stews, durst have conceived a scorn, and uttered it on a grey head. Age was authority against a buffoon, and a man had then a certain reverence paid unto his years, that had none due unto his life. So much the sanctity of some prevailed for others. But now we all are fallen, youth from their fear, and age from that which bred it, good example. Nay, would ourselves were not the first, even parents, that did destroy the hopes in our own children, or they not learned our vices in their cradles, and sucked in our ill customs with their milk. Ere all their teeth be born, or they can speak, we make their palates cunning. The first words we form their tongues with are licentious jests. Can it call whore? Cry bastard? Oh, then kiss it. A witty child. Don't swear. The father's darling. Give it 2 plums. Nay, rather than it shall learn no body's song, the mother herself will teach it. But this is in the infancy, the days of the long coat. When it puts on the breeches, it will put off all this. Ay, it is like when it is gone into the bone already. No, no, this dye goes deeper than the coat, or shirt, or skin. It stains into the liver, the heart in some, and rather than it should not, note what we fathers do. Look how we live, what mistresses we keep, at what expense in our sons' eyes, where they may handle our gifts, hear our lascivious courtships, see our dalliance, taste of the same provoking meats with us, to ruin of our states. Nay, when our own portion is fled, to prey on the remainder, we call them into fellowship of vice. Bade 'em with the young chambermaid to seal and teach all bad ways to buy affliction. This is one path, but there are millions more in which we spoil our own with leading them. Well, I thank heaven, I never yet was he that travelled with my son before 16 to show him the Venetian courtesans, nor read the grammar of cheating I had made to my sharp boy at 12, repeating still the rule, get money, still get money, boy. No matter by what means, money will do more, boy, than my lord's letter. Neither have I dressed snails or mushrooms curiously before him, perfumed my sauces, and taught him how to make them, proceeding still with my grey gluttony at all the ordinaries, and only feared his palate should degenerate, not his manners. These are the trait of fathers now. However, my son, I hope, hath met within my threshold none of these household precedents, which are strong and swift to rape youth to their precipice. But let the house at home be ne'er so clean swept, or kept swept from filth, nay, dust and cobwebs, if he will live abroad with his companions in dung and lystals, it is worth a fear. Nor is the danger of conversing less than all that I have mentioned of example.
Enter Brainworm disguised as before. Aside.
My master, nay, faith, have at you. I am fleshed now. I have sped so well. Worshipful sir, I beseech you, respect the estate of a poor soldier. I am ashamed of these base course of life. God's my comfort, but extremity provokes me to it. What remedy?
I have not for you now.
By the faith I bear unto truth, gentlemen, it is no ordinary custom in me, but only to preserve manhood. I protest to you, a man I have been, a man I may be, by your sweet bounty.
Pray thee, good friend, be satisfied.
Good sir, by that hand you may do the part of a kind gentleman in lending a poor soldier the price of 2 cans of beer, a matter of small value. The King of Heaven shall pay you, and I shall rest thankful, sweet worship.
Nay, and you be so importunate.
O tender sir, need will have its course. I was not made to this vile use. Well, the edge of the enemy could not have abated me so much. It's hard when a man has served in his prince's cause, and be thus.
Weeps.
Honorable worship, let me derive a small piece of silver from you. It shall not be given in the course of time. By this good ground, I was fain to pawn my rapier last night for a poor supper. I had sucked its hilt long before. I'm a pagan else. Sweet honor.
Believe me, I am taken with some wonder to think a fellow of thy outward presence should, in the frame and fashion of his mind, be so degenerate and sordid base. Art thou a man, and shamest thou not to beg, to practise such a servile kind of life? Why, were thy education near so mean, having thy limbs 1,000 fairer courses offer themselves to thy election? Either the wars might still supply thy wants, or service of some virtuous gentleman, or honest labour. Nay, what can I name but would become thee better than to beg? But men of thy condition feed on sloth, as cloth the beetle on the dung she breeds in, nor caring how the metal of your minds is eaten with the rust of idleness. Now, afore me, whate'er he be, that should relieve a person of thy quality, while thou insist in this loose desperate course, I would esteem the sin not thine, but his.
Faith, sir, I would gladly find some other course, if so.
Ay, you'll gladly find it, but you will not seek it.
Alas, sir, where should a man seek? In the wars? There's no ascent by desert in these days, but, and for service, would it were as soon purchased as wished for. The air's my comfort.
Sighs.
Know what I would say.
What's thy name?
Please you, Fitzsword, sir.
Fitzsword. Say that a man should entertain thee now. Wouldst thou be honest, humble, just, and true?
Sir, by the place and honour of a soldier.
Nay, nay, I like not these affected oaths. Speak plainly, man. What thinkest thou of my words?
Nothing, sir, but wish my fortunes were as happy as my service should be honest.
Well, follow me. I'll prove thee if thy deeds will carry a proportion to thy words.
Exit.
Yes, sir, straight. I'll but garter my hose. Oh, that my belly were hooped now, for I am ready to burst with laughing. Never was bottle or bagpipe fuller. Slide. Was there ever seen a fox in years to betray himself thus? Now shall I be possessed of all his counsels, and by that conduit, my young master? Well, he is resolved to prove my honesty, faith, and I am resolved to prove his patience. Oh, I shall abuse him intolerably. This small piece of service will bring him clean out of love with the soldier forever. He will never come within sight of it, the sight of a Cossack, or a musket rest again. He will hate the musters at Mile End for it, to his dying day. It's no matter. Let the world think me a bad counterfeit. If I cannot give him the slip at an instant, why, this is better than have stayed his journey. Well, I'll follow him. Oh, how I long to be employed.
Exit. End of Act 2. Act 3 of Every Man in His Humour by Ben Jonson. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3, Scene 1, The Old Jury. A room in the Windmill Tavern. Enter Master Matthew, Well-bred, and Bobadil.
Yes, faith, sir. We were at your lodging to seek you too.
Oh, I came not there tonight.
Your brother delivered us as much.
Who? My brother downright?
He, Mr. Well-bred. I know not in what kind you hold me, but let me say to you this, as sure as honour, I esteem it so much out of the sunshine of reputation to throw the least beam of regard upon such a—
Sir, I must hear no ill words of my brother.
I protest to you, as I have a thing to be saved about me, I never saw any gentlemanlike part—
Good captain, face us about to some other discourse.
With your leave, sir, and there were no more men living upon the face of the earth, I should not fancy him, by St. George.
Troth, nor I. He's of a rustical cut, I know not how. He doth not carry himself like a gentleman of fashion.
Oh, Master Matthew, that's a grace peculiar but to a few. Quos aquas amavit Jupiter.
I understand you, sir.
No question you do. Or you do not, sir.
Enter Edward Noble and Master Stephen.
Ned Noel, by my soul, welcome. How dost thou, sweet spirit, my genius? Slit, I shall love Apollo and the mad Thespian girls the better, while I live, for this, my dear Fury. Now I see there's some love in thee. Sirrah, these be the two I writ to thee of. Nay, what a drowsy humour is this now? Why dost thou not speak?
Oh, you are a fine gallant. You sent me a rare letter.
Why, was't not rare?
Yes, I'll be sworn I was ne'er guilty of reading the like. Match it in all Pliny or Symmachus's epistles, and I'll have my judgment burned in the ear for a rogue. Make much of thy vein, for it is inimitable. But I marl what camel it was that had the carriage of it, for, doubtless, he was no ordinary beast that brought it.
Why?
Why, sayest thou? Why, dost thou think that any reasonable creature, especially in the morning, the sober time of the day too, could have mistaken my father for me?
Slit, you jest, I hope.
Indeed, the best use we can turn it to is to make a jest on't. Now, but I'll assure you my father had the full view of your flourishing style some hour before I saw it.
What a dull slave was this! But, sirrah, what said he to it, in faith?
Nay, I know not what he said, but I have a shrewd guess what he thought.
What?
Marry, that thou art some strange dissolute young fellow, and I, a grain or two better, For keeping thee company.
Tut, that thought is like the moon in her last quarter. 'Twill change shortly. But, sirrah, I pray thee be acquainted with my two hang-bys here. Thou wilt take exceeding pleasure in them if thou hear'st them once go. My wind instruments, I wind them up. But what strange piece of silence is this, the sign of the dumb man?
Oh, sir, a kinsman of mine, one that may make your music the fuller an he please. He has his humour, sir.
Oh, what is't? What is't?
Nay, I'll neither do your judgment nor his folly that wrong, as to prepare your apprehension. I'll leave him to the mercy of your search. If you can take him, so.
Well, Captain Bobadil, Master Matthew, pray you know this gentleman here. He's a friend of mine, and one that will deserve your affection.
To Stephen.
I know not your name, sir, but I shall be glad of any occasion to render me more familiar to you.
My name is Master Stephen, sir. I am this gentleman's own cousin, sir. His father is mine uncle, sir. I am somewhat melancholy, but you shall command me, sir, in whatsoever is incident to a gentleman.
Sir, I must tell you this. I am no general man, but for Master Wellbred's sake, you may embrace it at what height of favour you please. I do communicate with you and conceive you to be a gentleman of some parts. I love few words.
And I fewer, sir. I have scarce enough to thank you.
But are you, indeed, sir, so given to it?
I, truly, sir, I am mightily given to melancholy.
Oh, it's your only fine humour, sir. Your true melancholy breeds your perfect fine wit, sir. I am melancholy myself, divers times, sir. And then do I no more but take pen and paper presently, and overflow you half a score or a dozen of sonnets at a sitting.
Edward Novell. Aside.
Sure he utters them then by the gross.
Truly, sir, and I love such things out of measure.
I' faith, better than in measure I'll undertake.
Why, I pray you, sir, make use of my study. It's at your service.
I thank you, sir. I shall be bold, I warrant you. Have you a stool there to be melancholy upon?
That I have, sir, and some papers there of mine own doing, at idle hours, that you'll say there's some sparks of wit in 'em, when you see them.
Well-bred. Aside.
Would the sparks would kindle once, and become a fire amongst them. I might see self-love burnt for her heresy.
Cousin, is it well? Am I melancholy enough?
Oh, aye, excellent.
Captain Bobadil, why muse you so?
He is melancholy too.
Faith, sir, I was thinking of a most honourable piece of service was performed to-morrow, being St. Mark's Day, shall be some 10 years now.
In what place, Captain?
Why, at the beleaguering of Strigonium, where in less than 2 hours 700 resolute gentlemen, as any were in Europe, lost their lives upon the breach. I'll tell you, gentlemen, it was the first, but the best leaguer that ever I beheld with these eyes, except the taking in of, what do you call it, last year by the Genoese, but that, of all other, was the most fatal and dangerous exploit that ever I was ranged in, since I first bore arms before the face of the enemy, as I am a gentleman and a soldier.
So, I had as lief as an angel I could swear as well as that gentleman.
Then you were a servitor at both, it seems, at Strigonium and what you call it.
O Lord, sir, by St. George, I was the first man that entered the breach, and had I not effected it with resolution, I had been slain if I had had 1,000,000 of lives.
'Twas pity you had not 10, a cat's and your own, i'faith. But was it possible?
Pray, you mark this discourse, sir.
So I do.
I assure you upon my reputation 'tis true, and you shall confess.
Edward Novell. Aside.
You must bring me to the rack first.
Observe me judiciously, sweet sir. They had planted me 3 demi-culverins just in the mouth of the breach. Now, sir, as we were to give on, their master gunner, a man of no mean skill and mark, you must think, confronts me with his linstock ready to give fire. I, spying his intendment, discharged my petronel in his bosom, and with these single arms my poor rapier ran violently upon the Moors that guarded the ordnance, and put them pell-mell to the sword.
To the sword? To the rapier, Captain?
Oh, it was a good figure observed, sir. But did you all this, Captain, without hurting your blade?
Without any impeach of the earth you shall perceive, sir.
Shews his rapier.
It is the most fortunate weapon that ever rid on poor gentleman's thigh. Shall I tell you, sir, you talk of Mowgli, Excalibur, Durindana, or so. Tut! I lend no credit to that is fabled of him. I know the virtue of mine own, and therefore I dare the boldlier maintain it.
I marl whether it be a Toledo or no.
A most perfect Toledo, I assure you, sir.
I have a countryman of his here.
Pray you, let's see, sir. Yes, faith, it is.
This a Toledo? Pish!
Why do you pish, Captain?
A Fleming, by heaven! I'll buy them for a guilder apiece, and I would have 1,000 of 'em.
How say you, cousin? I told you thus much.
Where bought you it, Master Stephen?
Of a scurvy rogue soldier. 100 of lice go with him. He swore it was a Toledo.
A poor Provence rapier, no better.
Mass, I think it be indeed, and now I look on it better.
Nay, the longer you look on't, the worse. Put it up, put it up.
Well, I will put it up. But by, I have forgot the captain's oath. I thought to have sword. By it, and ere I meet him.
Oh, it is past help now, sir. You must have patience.
Horse and coney hatching rascal. I could eat the very hilts for anger.
A sign of good digestion. You have an ostrich stomach, cousin.
A stomach? Would I had him here, you should see an I had a stomach.
It's better as it is. Come, gentlemen, shall we go?
Enter Brainworm, disguised as before.
A miracle, cousin. Look here, look here.
Oh, odds lid. By your leave, do you know me, sir?
Aye, sir. I know you by sight.
You sold me a rapier, did you not?
Yes, marry I did, sir.
You said it was a Toledo, huh?
True, I did so.
But it is none.
No, sir. I confess it. It is none.
Do you confess it? Gentlemen, bear witness, he has confessed it. Odds will, and you had not confessed it.
Oh, cousin, forbear, forbear.
Nay, I have done, cousin.
Why, you have done like a gentleman. He has confessed it. What would you more?
Yet, by his leave, he is a rascal, under his favour, do you see?
Aye, by his leave he is, and under favour. A pretty piece of civility. Sirrah, how dost thou like him?
Oh, it's a most precious fool. Make much at him. I can compare him to nothing more happily than a drum, for every one may play upon him.
No, no, a child's whistle were far the fitter.
Shall I entreat a word with you?
With me, sir? You have not another Toledo to sell, have you?
You are conceited, sir. Your name is Master Noel, as I take it.
You are in the right. You mean not to proceed in the catechism, do you?
No, sir. I am none of that coat.
Of as bare a coat, though. Well, say, sir.
Brainworm, taking Edward Noble aside.
Faith, sir, I am but a servant to the drum extraordinary, and indeed, the smoky varnish being washed off, and 3 or 4 patches removed, I appear, your worships, in reversion, after the decease of your good father, Brainworm.
Brainworm? Slight, what breath of a conjurer hath blown thee hither in this shape?
The breath of your letter, sir, this morning, the same that blew you to the windmill, and your father after you.
My father?
Nay, never start. 'Tis true. He has followed you over the fields by foot, as you would do a hare in the snow.
Sirrah Wellbred, what shall we do, sirrah? My father is come over after me.
Thy father? Where is he?
At Justice Clement's house, in Coleman Street, where he but stays my return, and then—
Who's this? Brainworm!
The same, sir.
Why, how, in the name of wit, comest thou transmuted thus?
Faith, a device, a device. Nay, for the love of reason, gentlemen, and avoiding the danger, stand not here. Withdraw, and I'll tell you all.
But art thou sure he will stay thy return?
Do I live, sir? What a question is that?
We'll prorogue his expectation then a little. Brainworm, thou shalt go with us. Come on, gentlemen. Nay, I pray thee, sweet Ned, droop not, heart, and our wits be so wretchedly dull that one old plodding brain can outstrip us all, would we were e'en pressed to make porters of, and serve out the remnant of our days in Thames Street, or at Custom House Quay, in a civil war against the carmen.
Amen, 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 say I.
Exeunt. Scene 2. The Old Jury. Kiley's warehouse. Enter Kiley and Cash.
What says he, Thomas? Did you speak with him?
He will expect you, sir, within this half hour.
Has he the money ready, can you tell?
Yes, sir. The money was brought in last night.
Oh, that is well. Fetch me my cloak, my cloak.
Exit Cash.
Stay, let me see. An hour to go and come. Aye, that will be the least. Then 'twill be an hour before I can dispatch with him. Oh, very near. Well, I will say 2 hours. 2 hours. Ha! Things never dreamt of yet may be contrived, aye, and effected too in 2 hours' absence. Well, I will not go. 2 hours. No fleering opportunity. I will not give your subtlety that scope. Who will not judge him worthy to be robbed that sets his doors wide open to a thief and shows the felon where his treasures lie? Again, what earthly spirit but will attempt to taste the fruit of beauty's golden tree when leaden sleep seals up the dragon's eyes? I will not go. Business, go by for once. No beauty, no. You are of too good character to be left so without a guard or open. Your lustre, too, will inflame at any distance, draw courtship to you as a jet doth straws. Put motion in a stone, strike fire from ice, nay, make a porter leap you with his burden. You must be then kept up close and well watched, for give you opportunity, no quicksand devours or swallows swifter. He that lends his wife, if she be fair, or time or place compels her to be false. I will not go. The dangers are too many. And then the dressing is a most main attractive. Our great heads within this city never were in safety, since our wives wore these little caps. I'll change 'em straight in mine. Mine shall no more wear 3 piled acorns, to make my horns ache. Nor will I go. I am resolved for that.
Re-enter Cash with a cloak.
Carry in my cloak again. Yet stay. Yet do, too, I will defer going on all occasions.
Sir, Snare, your scrivener, will be there with the bonds.
That's true. Fool on me. I had clean forgot it. I must go. What's o'clock?
Exchange time, sir.
Hot, then will Wellbred presently be here too, with one or other of his loose consorts. I am a knave, if I know what to say, what course to take, or which way to resolve. My brain, methinks, is like an hourglass, wherein my imaginations run like sands, filling up time, but then are turned and turned, so that I know not what to stay upon, and less to put in act. It shall be so, nay, I dare build upon his secrecy. He knows not to deceive me. Thomas!
Sir?
Yet now I have bethought me too, I will not. Thomas, is Cobb within?
I think he be, sir.
But he'll prate too, there is no speech of him. No, there was no man on earth to Thomas, if I durst trust him, there is all the doubt. But should he have a clink in him, I were gone, lost in my fame forever. Talk for the exchange. The manner he hath stood with till this present doth promise no such change. What should I fear then? Well, come what will, I'll tempt my fortune once. Thomas, you may deceive me, but I hope your love to me is more.
Sir, if a servant's duty with faith may be called love, you are more than in hope. You are possessed of it.
I thank you heartily, Thomas. Give me your hand. With all my heart, good Thomas. I have, Thomas, a secret to impart unto you. But when once you have it, I must seal your lips up. So far I tell you, Thomas.
Sir, for that...
Nay, hear me out. Think I esteem you, Thomas, when I will let you in thus to my private. It is a thing sits near to my crest. Then thou art ware of, Thomas, if thou shouldst reveal it, but...
How I reveal it?
Nay, I do not think thou wouldst, but if thou shouldst, 'twere a great weakness.
A great treachery. Give it no other name.
Thou wilt not do it, then?
Sir, if I do, mankind disclaim me ever.
He will not swear he has some reservation, some concealed purpose and close meaning, sure, else, being urged so much, how should he choose but lend an oath to all this protestation? He's no precisian, that I'm certain of, nor rigid Roman Catholic. He'll play at fails and tic-tac. I have heard him swear. What should I think of it? Urge him again? And by some other way? I will do so. Will, Thomas, thou hast sworn not to disclose? Yes, you did swear.
Not yet, sir, but I will. Please you...
Oh, Thomas, I dare take thy word, but if thou wilt swear, do as thou think'st good. I am resolved without it at thy pleasure.
By my soul's safety, then, sir, I protest. My tongue shall never take a knowledge of a word delivered me in nature of your trust.
It is too much. These ceremonies need not. I know thy faith to be as firm as rock. Thomas, come hither, near. We cannot be too private in this business, so it is.
Aside.
Now he has sworn, I dare the safely venture. I have of late but diverse observations, but whether his oath can bind him, yea or no, being not taken lawfully, say you.
Aside.
I will ask counsel ere I do proceed. Thomas, it will be now too long to stay. I'll spy some fitter time soon, or tomorrow.
Sir, at your pleasure.
I will think. And Thomas, I pray you search the books against my return for the receipts, twixt me and traps.
I will, sir.
And hear you, if your mistress's brother Wellbred chance to bring hither any gentleman, ere I come back, let one straight bring me word.
Very well, sir.
To the Exchange, do you hear? Or here in Coleman Street to Justice Clements. Forget it not, nor be not out of the way.
I will not, sir.
I pray you have a care on it, or whether he come or no, if any other, stranger or else, fail not to send me word.
I shall not, sir.
Be it your special business now to remember it.
Sir, I warrant you.
But Thomas, this is not the secret, Thomas, I told you of.
No, sir, I do suppose it.
Believe me, it is not.
Sir, I do believe you.
By heaven it is not, that's enough. But Thomas, I would not you should utter it, do you see, to any creature living, yet I care not. Well, I must hence, Thomas, conceive thus much. It was a trial of you when I meant so deep a secret to you. I mean not this, but that I have to tell you. This is nothing, but Thomas, keep this from my wife, I charge you, locked up in silence. Midnight, buried here. No greater hell than to be slave to fear.
Exit.
Locked up in silence, midnight, buried here. Whence should this flood of passion take head? Ha! Best dream no longer of this running humour. For fear I sink, the violence of the stream already hath transported me so far, that I can feel no ground at all, but soft. Oh, 'tis a water barrier, somewhat has crossed him now.
Enter Cobb hastily.
Fasting days? What tell you me of fasting days? Slid, would they were all on a light fire for me! They say the whole world shall be consumed with fire one day, but would I have these ember weeks and villainous Fridays burnt in the meantime, and then...
Why, how now, Cobb? What moves thee to this choler, huh?
Collar, Master Thomas! I scorn your collar. I, sir, I am none of your cart-horse, though I carry and draw water, and you offer to ride me with your collar or halter either. I may hap show you a jade's trick, sir.
Oh, you'll slip your head out of the collar. Why, good man Cobb, you mistake me.
Nay, I have my room. I can be angry as well as another, sir.
The rehum, Cobb, thy humour, thou mistakest.
Humour! Mac, I think it be so indeed. What is that humour? Some rare thing, I warrant.
Marry, I'll tell thee, Cobb. It is a gentlemanlike monster, bred in the special gallantry of our time by affectation, and fed by folly.
How? Must it be fed?
Oh, ay, humour is nothing if it be not fed. Didst thou never hear that? It's a common phrase, feed my humour.
I'll none on it. Humour vaunt. I know you not. Begone. Let who will make hungry meals for your monstership. It shall not be I. Feed you, quoth he. Slid, I have much ado to feed myself, especially on these lean rascally days too, and had been any other day but a fasting day, a plague on them all for me. By this light one might have done the Commonwealth good service, and have drowned them all in the flood 200,000 or 300,000 years ago. Oh, I do stomach them hugely. I have a more now, and 'twere for Sir Beavis's horse against them.
I pray thee, good Cobb, what makes thee so out of love with fasting days?
Marry, that which will make any man out of love with them, I think. Their bad conditions, and you will needs know. First, they are of a Flemish breed. I'm sure on't, for they raven up more butter than all the days of the week beside. Next, they stink of fish and leek porridge, miserably. Thirdly, they'll keep a man devoutly hungry all day, and at night send him supperless to bed.
Indeed, these are faults, Cobb.
Nay, and this were all 'twere something, but they are the only known enemies to my generation. A fasting day no sooner comes but my lineage goes to rack. Poor Cobbs, they smoke for it, they are made martyrs of the gridiron, they melted passion. And your maids to know this, and yet would have me turn Hannibal, and eat my own flesh and blood. My princely coz.
Pulls out a red herring.
Fear nothing. I have not the heart to devour you, and I might be made as rich as King Cophetua. Oh, that I had room for my tears, I could weep salt water enough now to preserve the lives of 10,000 of my kin. But I may curse none but these filthy almanacs. For Antwerp, not for them, these days of persecution would never be known. I'll be hanged in some fishmonger's son do not make of him, and puts in more fasting days than he should do, because he would utter his father's dried stockfish and stinking conger.
Slight piece, thou to be beaten like a stockfish else. Here's Master Matthew.
Enter well-bred Edward Noble, Brainworm, Matthew, Bobadil, and Stephen.
Now must I look out for a messenger for my master.
Exit with Cobb.
Assure me, but it was an absolute good jest, and exceedingly well carried.
Ay, and our ignorance maintained it as well, did it not?
Yes, faith, but was it possible thou shouldst not know him? I forgive Master Stephen, for he is stupidity itself.
'Fore God, not I, and I might have been joined pattern with one of the 7 wise masters for knowing him. He had so writhen himself into the habit of one of your poor infantry, your decayed, ruinous, worm-eaten gentlemen of the round, such as have vowed to sit on the skirts of the city, let your provost and his half-dozen of halberdiers do what they can, and have translated begging out of the old hackney pace to a fine easy amble, and made it run as smooth off the tongue as a shove-groat shilling. Into the likeness of one of these reformados had he moulded himself so perfectly, observing every trick of their action, as, varying the accent, swearing with an emphasis, indeed all with so special and exquisite a grace that, hadst thou seen him, thou wouldst have sworn he might have been Sergeant Major, if not lieutenant colonel to the regiment.
Why, brainworm, who would have thought thou hadst been such an artificer?
An artificer? An architect? Except a man had studied begging all his lifetime and been a weaver of language from his infancy for the clothing of it, I never saw his rival.
Where gotst thou this coat, I marl?
By a Houndsditch man, sir, one of the devil's near kinsmen, a broker.
That cannot be, if the proverb hold, for a crafty knave needs no broker.
True, sir, but I did need a broker. Ergo?
Well put off, no crafty knave, you'll say.
Tut, he has more of these shifts.
And yet, where I have one, the broker has 10, sir.
Re-enter Cash.
Francis, Martin, now one to be found now. What a spite's this?
How now, Thomas? Is my brother Kitely within?
No, sir, my master went forth in now, but master downright is within. Cobb, what Cobb? Is he gone too?
Whither went your master, Thomas? Canst thou tell?
I know not. To Justice Clement, I think, sir. Cobb!
Exit.
Justice Clement? What's he?
Why, dost thou not know him? He is a city magistrate, a justice here, an excellent good lawyer, and a great scholar, but the only mad merry old fellow in Europe. I shrewd him to the other day.
Oh, is that he? I remember him now. Good faith, and he is a very strange presence, methinks. It shews as if he stood out of the rank from other men. I have heard many of his jests in the university. They say he will commit a man for taking the wall of his horse.
Ay, or wearing his cloak on one shoulder, or serving of God. Anything indeed, if it come in the way of his humour.
Re-enter Cash.
Gasper, Martin, Cobb. Hard, where should they be trow?
Master Kitely's man, pray thee vouchsafe us the lighting of this match.
Fire on all match. No time but how to vouchsafe. Francis, Cobb.
Exit.
Body o' me, here's the remainder of 7 pounds since yesterday was sevennight. 'Tis your right Trinidado. Did you never take any, Master Stephen?
No, truly, sir. But I'll learn to take it now, since you commend it so.
Sir, believe me, upon my relation for what I tell you, the world shall not reprove. I have been in the Indies, where this herb grows, where neither myself nor a dozen gentlemen more of my knowledge have received the taste of any other nutriment in the world for the space of 21 weeks. But the fume of this simple only, therefore it cannot be, but 'tis most divine. Further, take it in the nature, in the true kind, so it makes an antidote, that had you taken the most deadly poisonous plant in all Italy, it should expel it and clarify you with as much ease as I speak. And for your green wound, your balsamum, and your St. John's wort, are all mere gulleries and trash to it, especially your Trinidado. Your Nicotian is good too. I could say what I know of the virtue of it for the expulsion of rheums, raw humour, crudities, obstructions, with 1,000 of this kind, but I profess myself no quacksalver, only thus much, by Hercules, I do hold it, and will affirm it before any prince in Europe to be the most sovereign and precious weed that ever the earth tendered to the use of man.
This speech would have done decently in a tobacco trader's mouth.
Re-enter Cash with Cobb.
At Justice Clement's he is, in the middle of Coleman Street.
Oh, oh! Where's the match I gave thee, Master Kitely's man?
Would his match and he, and pipe and all, were at Sancto Domingo. I had forgot it.
Exit.
Odds me, I mar what pleasure or felicity they have in taking this roguish tobacco. It's good for nothing but to choke a man, and fill him full of smoke and embers. There were 4 died out of one house last week with taking of it, and 2 more the bell went for yesternight. One of them, they say, will never escape it. He voided a bushel of soot yesterday, upward and downward, by the stocks, and there were no wiser men than I'd have at present whipping man or woman that should but deal with a tobacco pipe. Why, it will stifle them all in the end, as many as use it. It's little better than ratsbane or rosica.
Bobadil beats him.
Oh,
good Captain,
hold!
You base scullion, you!
Re-enter Cash.
Sir, here's your match. Come, thou must needs be talking to. Thou'rt well enough served.
Nay, he will not meddle with his match, I warrant you. Well, it shall be a dear beating, an I live.
Do you prate? Do you murmur?
Nay, good captain, will you regard the humour of a fool? Away, knave.
Thomas, get him away.
Exit Cash with Cobb.
A horse and filthy slave, a dung worm, an excrement. Body of Caesar, but that I scorn to let forth so mean a spirit, I'd have stabbed him to the earth.
Marry, the law forbids, sir.
By Pharaoh's foot I would have done it.
Oh, he swears most admirably. By Pharaoh's foot. Body of Caesar, I shall never do it, sure. Upon mine honour, and by St. George. No, I have not the right grace.
Master Stephen, will you any? By this air, the most divine tobacco that ever I drunk.
Practices at the post.
As I am a gentleman. By.
Exeunt Bobido and Matthew.
None, I thank you, sir. Oh, this gentleman does it rarely too, but nothing like the other, by this air.
Brainworm, pointing to Master Stephen.
Master Glance, Glance, Master Wellbred.
As I have somewhat to be saved, I protest.
You are a fool. It needs no affidavit.
Cousin, will you any tobacco?
I, sir, upon my reputation.
How now, cousin?
I protest as I am a gentleman, but no soldier indeed.
No, Master Stephen. As I remember, your name is entered in the artillery garden.
Aye, sir, that's true. Cousin, may I swear as I am a soldier by that?
Oh, yes, that you may. It is all you have for your money.
Then, as I am a gentleman and a soldier, it is divine tobacco.
Footsoft, where's Master Matthew? Gone?
No, sir. They went in here.
Oh, let's follow them. Master Matthew is going to salute his mistress in verse. We shall have the happiness to hear some of his poetry now. He never comes unfinished. Brainworm!
Brainworm? Where? Is this brainworm?
Ay, cousin, no words of it upon your gentility.
Not I, body o' me. By this air, St. George, and the foot of Pharaoh.
Rare. Your cousin's discourse is simply drawn out with oaths.
'Tis larded with them, a kind of French dressing, if you love it.
Exeunt. Scene 3, Coleman Street, a room in Justice Clement's house. Enter Kiley and Cobb.
Ha! How many are there, sayest thou?
Marry, sir, your brother, Master Wellbred.
Tut beside him, what strangers are there, man?
Strangers? Let me see. 1, 2... Mass, I know not well. There are so many.
How? So many?
Aye, there's some 5 or 6 of them at the most.
A swarm, a swarm. Spite of the devil, how they sting my head with forked stings, thus wide and large. But, Cobb, how long hast thou been coming hither, Cobb?
A little while, sir.
Didst thou come running?
No, sir.
Nay, then, I am familiar with thy haste, bane to my fortunes. What meant I to marry? I that before was ranked in such content, my mind at rest too in so soft a peace, being free master of mine own free thoughts, and now become a slave. What? Never sigh, be of good cheer, man, for thou art a cuckold. 'Tis done, 'tis done. Nay, when such flowing store plenty itself falls into my wife's lap, the cornucopia will be mine, I know. But, Cobb, what entertainment had they? I am sure my sister and my wife would bid them welcome, huh?
Like enough, sir, yet I heard not a word of it.
No, their lips were sealed with kisses, and the voice, drowned in a flood of joy at their arrival, had lost her motion, state, and faculty. Cobb, which of them was it that first kissed my wife, my sister, I should say, my wife? Alas, I fear not her. Ha! Who was it, sayest thou?
By my troth, sir, will you have the truth of it?
Why, Cobb, I pray thee heartily.
Then I am a vagabond, and fitter for bridewell than your worship's company, if I saw anybody to be kissed, unless they would have kissed the post in the middle of the warehouse, for there I left them all at their tobacco, with a pox.
How, were they not gone in, then, ere thou camest?
Oh, no, sir.
Spite of the devil, what do I stay here, then, Cobb? Follow me.
Exit.
Nay, soft and fair, I have eggs on the spit. I cannot go yet, sir. Now am I, for some 55 reasons, hammering revenge. Oh, for 3 or 4 gallons of vinegar to sharpen my wits. Revenge, vinegar, and mustard, revenge! Nay, and he had not lain in my house, 'twould never have grieved me, but being my guest, one that, I'll be sworn, my wife has lent him her smock off her back, while his own shirt has been washing, pawned her neck-kerchiefs for clean bands to him, sold almost all my platters to buy him tobacco, and he to turn monster of ingratitude and strike his lawful host. Well, I hope to raise up a host of fury for it. Here comes Justice Clement.
Enter Justice Clement, novel and formal.
What's Master Kitely gone, Roger?
Aye, sir.
Heart o' me, what made him leave us so abruptly? How now, sirrah? What make you here? What would you have, huh?
And please your worship, I am a poor neighbour of your worship's.
A poor neighbour of mine? Why, speak, poor neighbour.
I dwell, sir, at the sign of the water tankard, hard by the green lattice. I have paid scot and lot there any time this 18 years.
To the green lattice?
No, sir, to the parish. Mary, I have seldom skipped scot-free at the lattice.
Oh, well, what business has my poor neighbour with me?
And, like your worship, I am come to crave the peace of your worship.
Of me, knave? Peace of me, knave? Did I ever hurt thee, or threaten thee, or wrong thee, huh?
No, sir, but your worship's warrant for one that has wronged me, sir. His arms are at too much liberty. I would fain have them bound to a treaty of peace, and my credit could compass it with your worship.
Thou goest far enough about for't, I am sure.
Why, dost thou go in danger of thy life for him, friend?
No, sir, but I go in danger of my death every hour by his means, and I die within a 12-month and a day, I may swear by the law of the land that he killed me.
How, knave? Swear he killed thee? And by the law? What pretence? What colour hast thou for that?
Marry, and please your worship, both black and blue. Colour enough, I warrant you. I have it here to show your worship.
What is he that gave you this, sirrah?
A gentleman and a soldier, he says. He is of the city here.
A soldier of the city? What call you him?
Captain Bobadil.
Bobadil? And why did he bob and beat you, sirrah? How began the quarrel betwixt you, huh? Speak truly, knave, I advise you.
Merry indeed, and please your worship, only because I spake against their vagrant tobacco, as I came by them when they were taking on't, for nothing else.
Ha! You speak against tobacco. Formal, his name.
What's your name, sirrah?
Oliver, sir. Oliver Cobb, sir.
Tell Oliver Cobb he shall go to the jail, Formal.
Oliver Cobb. My master, Justice Clement, says you shall go to the jail.
Oh, I beseech your worship, for God's sake, dear Master Justice.
Precious, and such drunkards and tankards as you are. Come to dispute of tobacco once, I have done. Away with him.
Oh, good Master Justice.
To novel.
Sweet old gentleman.
Sweet Oliver, would I could do thee any good. Justice Clement, let me entreat you, sir.
What? A threadbare rascal, a beggar, a slave that never drunk out of better than piss-pot metal in his life, and he too depraved, and abused the virtue of an herb so generally received in the courts of princes, the chambers of nobles, the bowers of sweet ladies, the cabins of soldiers. Roger, away with him. Odds precious, I say, go to.
Dear Master Justice, let me be beaten again. I have deserved it, but not the prison, I beseech you.
Alas, poor Oliver.
Roger, make him a warrant. He shall not go. But I fear the knave.
Do not stink, sweet Oliver. You shall not go. My master will give you a warrant.
Oh, the Lord maintain his worship, his worthy worship.
Away, dispatch him.
Exeunt, Formal and Cobb.
How now, Master Noel? In dumps, in dumps? Come, this becomes not.
Sir, would I could not feel my cares.
Your cares are nothing. They are like my cap, soon put on and as soon put off. What? Your son is old enough to govern himself. Let him run his course. It's the only way to make him a staid man. If he were an unthrift, a ruffian, a drunkard, or a licentious liver, then you had reason. You had reason to take care. But, being none of these, mirth's my witness, and I had twice so many cares as you have, I'd drown them all in a cup of sack. Come, come, let's try it. I muse your parcel of a soldier returns not all this while.
Exeunt. End of Act 3. Act 4 of Every Man in His Humour by Ben Jonson. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 4. Scene 1. A room in Kylie's house. Enter Downright and Dame Kylie.
Well, sister, I tell you true, and you'll find it so in the end.
Alas, brother, what would you have me to do? I cannot help it. You see, my brother brings them in here. They are his friends.
His friends? His fiends? Slud, they do nothing but haunt him up and down like a sort of unlucky spirits, and tempt him to all manner of villainy that can be thought of. Well, by this light, a little thing would make me play the devil with some of them, and were not more for your husband's sake than for anything else, I'd make the house too hot for the best of them. They should say and swear hell were broken loose ere they went hence. But by God's will, 'tis nobody's fault but yours, for an you had done as you might have done, they should have been parboiled, and baked too, every mother's son, ere they should have come in, ere a one of them.
God's my life, did you ever hear the like? What a strange man is this! Could I keep out all them, think you? I should put myself against 6 men, should I? Good faith, you'd mad the patientest body in the world to hear you talk so, without any sense or reason.
Enter Mistress Bridget, Master Matthew, and Bobadil, followed at a distance by well-bred Edward Noble, Stephen, and Brainworm.
Servant, in troth you are too prodigal of your wit's treasure. Thus pour it forth upon so mean a subject as my worth.
You say well, mistress, and I mean as well.
Hoy-day, here is stuff.
Oh, now stand close. Pray heaven she can get him to read. He should do it of his own natural impudency.
Servant, what is this same, I pray you?
Marry, an elegy, an odd toy.
To mock an ape withal. Oh, I could sew up his mouth now.
Sister, I pray you, let's hear it.
Are you rhyme given too?
Mistress, I'll read it if you please.
Pray you do, servant.
Oh, here's no foppery. Death, I could endure the stocks better.
Exit.
What ails thy brother? Can he not hold his water at reading of a ballad?
Oh no, a rhyme for him is worse than cheese, or a bagpipe. But mark, you lose the protestation.
Faith, I did it in a humour. I know not how it is. But please, you come near, sir. This gentleman has judgment. He knows how to censure of a... Pray you, sir, can you judge?
Not I, sir. Upon my reputation and by the foot of Pharaoh.
Oh, chide your cousin for swearing.
Not I, so long as he does not forswear himself.
Master Matthew, you abuse the expectation of your dear mistress and her fair sister. Fie, while you live, avoid this prolixity.
I shall, sir. Well, insipere dulce.
How insipere, Duke? A sweet thing to be a fool, indeed.
What, do you take incipiere in that sense?
You do not, you. This was your villainy, to gull him with a mot.
Oh, the bencher's phrase. Pauca verba, pauca verba.
Rare creature, let me speak without offence. Would God my rude words had the influence to rule thy thoughts as thy fair looks do mine, then shouldst thou be his prisoner who is thine.
This is Hero and Leander.
Oh, aye, peace, we shall have more of this.
Be not unkind and fair, misshapen stuff is of behaviour boisterous and rough.
How like you that, sir?
Master Stephen shakes his head.
Slight. He shakes his head like a bottle to feel an there be any brain in it.
But observe the catastrophe now, and I in duty will exceed all other, as you in beauty do excel love's mother.
Well, I'll have him free of the wit brokers, for he utters nothing but stolen remnants.
Oh, forgive it him.
A filching rogue, hang him, and from the dead. It's worse than sacrilege.
Well-bred, Edward Noble and Master Stephen come forward.
Sister, what have you here, verses? Pray, let's see. Who made these verses? They are excellent good.
O Master Well-bred, 'tis your disposition to say so, sir. They were good in the morning. I made them extempore this morning.
How? Extempore?
Aye, would I might be hanged else. Ask Captain Bobadil. He saw me write them. At the... pox on it. The star yonder.
Can he find in his heart to curse the stars so?
Faith, his are even with him. They have cursed him enough already.
Cousin, how do you like this gentleman's verses?
Oh, admirable. The best that ever I heard, coz.
Body of Caesar, they are admirable. The best that I have ever heard as I am a soldier.
Re-enter Downright.
I am vexed. I can hold ne'er a bone of me still. Hurt, I think they mean to build and breed here.
Sister, you have a simple servant here, that crowns your beauty with such encomiums and devices. You may see what it is to be the mistress of a wit, that can make your perfection so transparent, that every blear eye may look through them, and see him drown over head and ears in the deep well of desire, Sister Kitely. I marvel you get not a servant that can rhyme, and do tricks too.
Oh, monster! Impudence itself! Tricks!
Tricks, brother? What tricks?
Nay, speak. I pray you, what tricks?
I never spare anybody here, but say, what tricks?
Passion of my heart, do tricks.
Slight, here's a trick vied and revide. Why, you monkeys, you, what a caterwauling do you keep? Has he not given you rhymes and verses and tricks?
Oh, the fiend!
Nay, you lump of virginity, that take it in snuff, so come and cherish this tame poetical fury in your servant. You'll be begged else shortly for a concealment. Go to, reward his muse. You cannot give him less than a shilling in conscience, for the book he had it out of cost him a testin at least. How now, gallants? Master Matthew, Captain. What, all sons of silence, no spirit?
Come, you might practice your ruffian tricks somewhere else, and not here, I wis. This is no tavern or drinking school to vent your exploits in.
How now, whose cow has calved?
Marry, that has mine, sir. Nay, boy, never look askance at me for the matter. I'll tell you of it. Aye, sir. You and your companions mend themselves when I have done.
My companions?
Yes, sir. Your companions, so I say. I am not afraid of you, nor them neither. Your hang-bys here. You must have your poets and your potlings, your soldados and fulados, to follow you up and down the city. and here they must come to domineer and swagger. Sirrah, you ballad singer, and Slops, your fellow there, get you out, get you home. Oh, by this steel, I'll cut off your ears, and that presently.
Slate, stay. Let's see what he dare do. Cut off his ears. Cut a whetstone. You're an ass, do you see? Touch any man here, and by this hand I'll run my rapier to the hilts in you.
Yea, that would I fain see, boy.
They all draw.
Oh, Jesu! Murder! Thomas! Gasper!
Help! Help! Thomas!
Enter Cash, and summon the house to part them.
Gentlemen, forbear, I pray you.
Well, sirrah, you Holofernes, by my hand, I will pink your flesh full of holes with my rapier for this. I will, by this good heaven. Nay, let him come, gentlemen, by the body of St. George, I'll not kill him.
Offer to fight again, and are parted.
Hold, hold, good gentleman.
You whoreson, bragging coistrel.
Enter Kitely.
Why, how now? What's the matter? What's the stir here? Whence springs the quarrel? Thomas, where is he? Put up your weapons and put off this rage. My wife and sister, they are the cause of this. What, Thomas, where's the knave?
Here, sir.
Come, let's go. This is one of my brother's ancient humours, this.
I am glad nobody was hurt by his ancient humour.
Exeunt well-bred Stephen, Edward Noble, Bobadil, and Brainworm.
Why, how now, brother? Who enforced this brawl?
A sort of load of rakehells that care neither for God nor the devil. And they must come here to read ballads and roguery and trash. I'll mar the nod of them ere I sleep, perhaps. Especially Bob there, he that's all manner of shapes and songs and sonnets, his fellow.
Brother, indeed you are too violent, too sudden in your humour. And you know my brother Wellbred's temper will not bear any reproof, chiefly in such a presence, where every slight disgrace he should receive might wound him in opinion and respect.
Respect? What talk you of a respect among such as have no spark of manhood nor good manners? Staines, I am ashamed to hear you. Respect.
Exit.
Yes, there was one, a civil gentleman, and very worthily demeaned himself.
Oh, that was some love of yours, sister.
A love of mine! I would it were no worse, brother. You'd pay my portion sooner than you think for.
Indeed, he seemed to be a gentleman of a very exceeding fair disposition, and of excellent good parts.
Exeunt Dame Curtly and Bridget.
Her love, by heaven, my wife's minion, fair disposition, excellent good parts, death! These phrases are intolerable. Good parts, how should she know his parts? His parts! Well, it is too plain, too clear. Thomas, come hither. What, are they gone?
Aye, sir. They went in.
My mistress and your sister.
Are any of the gallants within?
No, sir. They are all gone.
Art thou sure of it?
I can assure you, sir.
What gentleman was that they praised so, Thomas?
One, they call him Mr. Noel, a handsome young gentleman, sir.
Aye, I thought so. My mind gave me as much. I'll die. But they have hid him in the house. Somewhere I'll go and search. Go with me, Thomas. Be true to me, and thou shalt find me a master.
Exeunt. Scene 2. The lane before Cobb's house. Enter Cobb. Cobb knocks at the door.
What? Tib! Tib, I say!
Tib, within.
How now? What cuckold is that knocks so hard?
Enter Tib.
Oh, husband, is it you? What's the news?
Nay, you have stunned me, i' faith. You have given me a knock of the forehead will stick by me. Cuckold, slid, cuckold.
Away, you fool! Did I know it was you that knocked? Come, come, you may call me as bad when you list.
May I? Tib, you are a whore.
You lie in your throat, husband.
How the lie? And in my throat, too, do you long to be stabbed, huh?
Why, you are no soldier, I hope.
Oh, must you be stabbed by a soldier? Mass, that's true. When was Bobadil here, your captain? That Rogue, that foist, that fencing bourguignon. I'll tickle him, my faith.
Why, what's the matter, Drow?
Oh, he has baited me rarely, sumptuously. But I have it here in black and white.
Pulls out the warrant.
For his black and blue shall pay him. Oh, the justice, the honestest old brave Trojan in London. I do honour the very flea of his dog. A plague on him, though, he put me once in a villainous, filthy fear. Mary, it vanished away like the smoke of tobacco, but I was smoked soundly first. I thank the devil and his good angel, my guest. Well, wife, or Tib, which you will, get you in and lock the door. I charge you, let nobody into you, wife. Nobody into you, those are my words, not Captain Bob himself, nor the fiend in his likeness. You are a woman. You have flesh and blood enough in you to be tempted. Therefore keep the door shut upon all comers.
I warrant you, there shall nobody enter here without my consent.
Nor with your consent, sweet Tib. And so I leave you.
It's more than you know whether you leave me so.
How?
Why, sweet.
Tut, sweet or sour, thou art a flower. Keep closed thy door, I ask, no more.
Exeunt. Scene 3. A room in the Windmill Tavern. Enter Edward Noel, Wellbred, Stephen, and Brainworm, disguised as before.
Well, Brainworm, perform this business happily, and thou makest a purchase of my love forever.
I' faith now, let thy spirits use their best faculties, but, at any hand, remember the message to my brother, for there's no other means to start him.
I warrant you, sir, fear nothing. I have a nimble soul, has waked all forces of my fantasy by this time, and put them in true motion, which you have possessed me withal. I'll discharge it amply, sir. Make it no question.
Exit.
Forth and prosper, Brainworm. Faith, Ned, how dost thou approve of my abilities in this device?
Troth, well, howsoever, but it will come excellent if it take.
Take, man, why I cannot choose but take, if the circumstances miscarry not. But, tell me ingenuously, dost thou affect my sister Bridget as thou pretendst?
Friend, am I worth belief?
Come, do not protest. In faith, she is a maid of good ornament and much modesty, and, except I conceived very worthily of her, thou shouldst not have her.
Nay, that I am afraid will be a question yet, whether I shall have her or no.
Slid, thou shalt have her, by this light thou shalt.
Nay, do not swear.
By this hand thou shalt have her, I'll go fetch her presently. Point but where to meet, and as I am an honest man, I'll bring her.
Hold, be temperate.
Why, by, what shall I swear by? Thou shalt have her, as I am—
Prithee, be at peace. I am satisfied, and do believe thou wilt omit no offered occasion to make my desires complete.
Thou shalt see, and no, I will not.
Exeunt. Scene 4. The Old Jury. Enter Farmer and Noble.
Was your man a soldier, sir?
Ay, a knave. I took him begging on the way this morning, as I came over Moorfields.
Enter Brainworm, disguised as before.
Oh, here he is. You've made fair speed, believe me. Where, in the name of sloth, could you be thus?
Marry, peace be my comfort, where I thought I should have had little comfort of your worship's service.
How so?
O sir, your coming to the city, your entertainment of me, and your sending me to watch, indeed all the circumstances either of your charge or my employment, are as open to your son as to yourself.
How should that be, unless that villain Brainworm have told him of the letter, and discovered all that I strictly charged him to conceal? 'Tis so.
I am partly o' the faith. 'Tis so, indeed.
But how should he know thee to be my man?
Nay, sir, I cannot tell you, unless it be by the black art. Is not your son a scholar, sir?
Yes, but I hope his soul is not allied unto such hellish practice. If it were, I had just cause to weep my part in him, and curse the time of his creation. But where didst thou find them, Fitzsword?
You should rather ask where they found me, sir. For I'll be sworn, I was going along in the street, thinking nothing, when, of a sudden, a voice calls, "Mr. Noel's man." Another cries, "Soldier," and thus half a dozen of them, till they had called me within a house, where I no sooner came, but they seemed men, and out flew all their rapiers at my bosom, with some 3 or 4 score oaths to accompany them, and all to tell me I was but a dead man, if I did not confess where you were, and how I was employed, and about what, which when they could not get out of me, as, I protest, they must have dissected, and made an anatomy of me first, and so I told them. They locked me up into a room in the top of a high house, whence, by great miracle, having a light heart, I slid down by a bottom of a pack-thread into the street, and there escaped. But, sir, thus much I can assure you, I heard it while I was locked up. There was a great many rich merchants and brave citizens' wives with them at the feast, and your son, Master Edward, withdrew with one of them, and has pointed to meet her anon in one Cobb's house, a water-bearer that dwells by the wall. Now, there your worship shall be sure to take him, for there he prays, and fail he will not.
Nor will I fail to break his match, I doubt not. Go thou along with Justice Clement's man, and stay there for me. At one Cobb's house, sayest thou?
Aye, sir, there you shall have him.
Exit Nobel.
Yes, invisible, much wrench, and much sun. Slight, when he has stayed there 3 or 4 hours, travailing with the expectation of wonders, and at length to be delivered of air. Oh, the sport that I should then take to look at him, if I durst. But now, I mean to appear no more afore him in this shape. I have another trick to act yet. Oh, that I were so happy as to light on a nubson, now of this justice's novice. Sir, I make you stay somewhat long.
Not a whit, sir. Pray, what do you mean, sir?
I was putting up some papers.
You have been lately in the wars, sir, it seems.
Marry have I, sir, to my loss, and expense of all, almost.
Troth, sir, I would be glad to bestow a bottle of wine on you if it please you to accept it.
Sir.
But to hear the manner of your services and your devices in the wars, they say they be very strange, and not like those a man reads in the Roman histories or sees at Mile End.
No, I assure you, sir. Why, at any time, when it please you, I shall be ready to discourse to you all I know.
Aside.
And more too, somewhat.
No better time than now, sir. We'll go to the windmill. There we shall have a cup of neat grist, we call it. I pray you, sir, let me request you to the windmill.
I'll follow you, sir.
Aside.
And make grist of you, if I have good luck.
Exeunt. Scene 5. Moorfields. Enter Matthew, Edward Noble, Bobadil, and Stephen.
Sir, did your eyes ever taste the like clown of him where we were today? Mr. Wellbred's half-brother? I think the whole earth cannot shew his parallel by this daylight.
We were now speaking of him. Captain Bobadil tells me he's fallen foul of you too.
Oh, aye, sir. He threatened me with the bastinado.
Aye, but I think I taught you prevention this morning for that. You shall kill him beyond question, if you be so generously minded.
Indeed. It is a most excellent trick.
Fences.
Oh, you do not give spirit enough to your motion. You are too tardy, too heavy. Oh, it must be done like lightning, hey!
Practices at a post with his cudgel.
Rare, Captain.
Tut, 'tis nothing, and be not done in a punto.
Captain, did you ever prove yourself upon any of our masters of defence here?
Oh, good sir. Yes, I hope he has.
I will tell you, sir. Upon my first coming to the city, after my long travel for knowledge, in that mystery only, there came 3 or 4 of them to me, at a gentleman's house, where it was my chance to be resident at that time, to entreat my presence at their schools, and withal so much importuned me that I protest to you, as I am a gentleman, I was ashamed of their rude demeanour out of all measure. Well, I told them that to come to a public school they should pardon me, it was opposite in diameter to my humour, but if so be they would give their attendance at my lodging, I protested to do them what right or favour I could, as I was a gentleman, and so forth.
So, sir, then you tried their skill?
Alas, soon tried, you shall hear, sir. Within 2 or 3 days after, they came, and by honesty, fair sir, believe me, I graced them exceedingly, showed them some 2 or 3 tricks of prevention, have purchased them sense a credit to admiration. They cannot deny this, and yet now they hate me, and why? Because I am excellent, and for no other vile reason on the earth.
This is strange and barbarous as ever I heard.
Nay, for a more instance of their preposterous natures, but note, sir, they have assaulted me some 3, 4, 5, 6 of them together, as I have walked alone in divers skirts of the town, as Turnbull, Whitechapel, Shoreditch, which were then my quarters, and since upon the Exchange, at my lodging, and at my ordinary, where I have driven them afore me the whole length of a street in the open view of all our gallants, pitying to hurt them, believe me. Yet all this lenity will not overcome their spleen. They will be doing with the pismire, raising a hill a man may spurn abroad with his foot at pleasure. By myself I could have slain them all, but I delight not in murder. I am loath to bear any other than this bastinado for them. Yet I hold it good polity not to go disarmed, for though I be skilful, I may be oppressed with multitudes.
Ay, believe me, may you, sir, and in my conceit, our whole nation should sustain the loss by it, if it was so.
Alas, no, what's a peculiar man to a nation, not seen?
Oh, but your skill, sir.
Indeed, that might be some loss, but who respects it? I will tell you, sir, by the way of private and under seal, I am a gentleman, and live here obscure and to myself, but were I known to his majesty and the lords, observe me, I would undertake upon this poor head and life, for the public benefit of the state, not only to spare the entire lives of her subjects in general, but to save the 1/2, nay 3 parts of her yearly charge in holding war against what enemy soever. And how would I do it, think you?
Nay, I know not, nor can I conceive.
Why, thus, sir. I would select 19 more to myself throughout the land. Gentlemen they should be, of good spirits, strong and able constitution. I would choose them by an instinct, a character that I have, and I would teach these 19 the special rules, as your punto, your reverso, your staccata, your imbricato, your passata, your montanto, till they could all play very near, or all together as well as myself. This done, say the enemy were 40,000 strong, we 20 would come into the field the 10th of March, or thereabouts, and we would challenge 20 of the enemy. They could not in their honour refuse us. Well, we would kill them, challenge 20 more, kill them, 20 more, kill them, 20 more, kill them too, and thus would we kill every man his 20 a day. That's 20 score, that's 200, 200 a day, 5 days, 1,000, 40,000, 40 times 5, 5 times 40, 200 days kills them all up by computation. And this will I venture my poor gentleman-like carcass to perform, provided there be no treason practised upon us by fair and discreet manhood, that is, civilly by the sword.
Why, are you so sure of your hand, Captain, at all times?
Tut, never mistrust upon my reputation with you.
I would not stand in Downright's state then, an you meet him, for the wealth of any one street in London.
Why, sir, you mistake me. If he were here now, by this welkin, I would not draw my weapon on him. Let this gentleman do his mind, but I will bastinado him by the bright sun wherever I meet him.
Faith, and I'll have a fling at him, at my distance.
Odds, so, look where he is. Yonder he goes.
Downright crosses the stage.
What peevish look have I? I cannot meet with these bragging rascals.
It is not he, is it?
Yes, faith, it is he.
I'll be hanged then, if that were he.
Sir, keep your hanging good for some greater matter, for I assure you that were he.
Upon my reputation, it was he.
Had I thought it had been he must not have gone so. But I can hardly be induced to believe it was he yet.
That I think, sir.
Re-enter downright.
But see, he is come again.
Oh, Pharaoh's foot, have I found you? Come, draw to your tools. Draw, gypsy, or I'll thrash you.
Gentlemen of valour, I do believe in thee. Hear me.
Draw your weapon, then.
Tall man, I never thought on it till now. Body of me, I had a warrant of the peace served on me even now as I came along by a water-bearer. This gentleman saw it, Master Matthew.
Death! You will not draw it, then?
Disarms and beats him. Matthew runs away.
Hold, under thy favour forbear.
Prate again, and you like this, you horse and foist, you. You control the point, you. Your consort is gone. Had he stayed, he had shared with you, sir.
Exit.
Well, gentlemen, bear witness I was bound to the peace by this good day.
No, faith, it's an ill day, captain. Never reckon it other. But say you are bound to the peace. The law allows you to defend yourself. That will prove but a poor excuse.
I cannot tell, sir. I desire good construction in fair sort. I never sustained the like disgrace by heaven. Sure I was struck with a planet thence, for I had no power to touch my weapon.
Ay, like enough. I have heard of many that have been beaten under a planet. Go, get you to a surgeon. Slit, and these be your tricks, your passados, and your montantos. I'll none of them.
Exit Barbadil.
Manners. That this age should bring forth such creatures. That nature should be at leisure to make them. Come, coz.
Mass, I'll have this cloak.
Odds will, 'tis downrights.
Nay, it's mine now. Another might have ta'en it up as well. I'll wear it, so I will.
How when he see it? He'll challenge it, assure yourself.
Ay, but he shall not have it. I'll say I bought it.
Take heed you buy it not too dear, coz.
Exeunt. Scene 6. A room in Cowley's house. Enter Cowley, Wellbred, Dame Cowley, and Bridget.
Now trust me, brother, you were much to blame, to incense his anger, and disturb the peace of my poor house, where there are sentinels that every minute watch to give alarms of civil war without adjection of your assistance or occasion.
No harm done, brother, I warrant you. Since there was no harm done, anger costs a man nothing. And a tall man is never his own man till he be angry. To keep his valour in obscurity is to keep himself, as it were, in a cloak-bag. What's a musician unless he play? What's a tall man unless he fight? For indeed, all this, my wise brother, stands upon absolutely, and that made me fall in with him so resolutely.
Ay, but what harm might have come of it, brother?
Might, sister? So might the good warm clothes your husband wears be poisoned, for anything he knows, or the wholesome wine he drank, even now at the table.
Now God forbid. Oh, me! Now I remember my wife drank to me last, and changed the cup, and bade me wear this cursed suit to-day. See, if heaven suffer murder undiscovered, I feel ill. Give me some mithridate and oil, good sister, fetch me. I am sick at heart, I burn. If you will save my life, go fetch it me.
Oh, strange humour, my very breath has poisoned him.
Good brother, be content. What do you mean? The strength of these extreme conceits will kill you.
Beshrew your heart blood, brother well-bred now, for putting such a toy into his head.
Is a fit simile a toy? Will he be poisoned with a simile? Brother Kitely, what a strange and idle imagination is this! For shame, be wiser! Oh, my soul, there's no such matter.
Am I not sick? How am I then not poisoned? Am I not poisoned? How am I then so sick?
If you be sick, your own thoughts make you sick.
His jealousy is the poison he has taken.
Enter Brainworm, disguised in formal clothes.
Master Keightley, my master, Justice Clement salutes you, and desires to speak with you with all possible speed.
No time but now, when I think I am sick, very sick. Well, I will wait upon his worship. Thomas, Cobb! I must seek them out, and set them sentinels till I return. Thomas, Cobb! Thomas!
Exit.
This is perfectly rare, Brainworm.
Takes him aside.
But how gott'st thou this apparel of the justice's man?
Marry, sir, my proper fine penman would needs bestow the grist on me at the windmill to hear some martial discourse, where I so marshalled him that I made him drunk with admiration, because too much heat was the cause of his distemper. I stripped him stark naked as he lay along asleep, and borrowed his suit to deliver this counterfeit message in, leaving a rusty armor and an old brown bill to watch him till my return, which shall be when I have pawned his apparel and spent the better part of the money, perhaps.
Well, thou art a successful merry knave, Brainworm. His absence will be a good subject for more mirth. I pray thee return to thy young master, and will him to meet me and my sister Bridget at the tower instantly. For here tell him the house is so stored with jealousy, there is no room for love to stand upright in. We must get our fortunes committed to some larger prison, say, and then the tower, I know no better air, nor where the liberty of the house may do us more present service. Away!
Exit Brainworm. Re-enter Kylie, talking aside to Cash.
Come hither, Thomas. Now my secret's ripe, and thou shalt have it. Lay to both thine ears, hark what I say to thee. I must go forth, Thomas. Be careful of thy promise. Keep good watch. Note every gallant, and observe him well, that enters in my absence to thy mistress. If she should show him rooms, the jest is stale. Follow them, Thomas, or else hang on him, and let him not go after. Mark their looks. Note if she offer but to see his band, or any other amorous toy about him. But praise his leg or foot, or if she say the day is hot, and bid him feel her hand, how hot it is. Oh, that's a monstrous thing. Note me all this, good Thomas. Mark their sighs, and if they do but whisper, break them off. I'll bear thee out in it. Wilt thou do this? Wilt thou be true, my Thomas?
As truth's self, sir.
Why, I believe thee. Where is Cobb now? Cobb!
Exit.
He's ever calling for Cobb. I wonder how he employs Cobb so.
Indeed, sister, to ask how he employs Cobb is a necessary question for you that are his wife, and a thing not very easy for you to be satisfied in. But this I'll assure you, Cobb's wife is an excellent bawd, sister, and oft-times your husband haunts her house. Marry, to what end? I cannot altogether accuse him. Imagine you what you think convenient. But I have known fair hides have foul hearts ere now, sister.
Never said you truer than that, brother. So much I can tell you for your learning. Thomas, fetch your cloak and go with me.
Exit Cash.
I'll after him presently. I would to fortune I could take him there, i' faith. I'd return him his own, I warrant him.
Exit.
So let him go. This may make sport anon. Now, my fair sister-in-law, that you knew but how happy a thing it were to be fair and beautiful.
That touches me not, brother.
That's true. That's even the fault of it. For indeed, beauty stands a woman in no stead, unless it procure her touching. But, sister, whether it touch you or no, it touches your beauties, and I am sure they will abide the touch. And they do not, a plague of all shrews, I say, and it touches me too in part, though not in the— Well, there's a dear and respected friend of mine, sister, stand very strongly and worthily affected toward you, and hath vowed to inflame whole bonfires of zeal at his heart in honor of your perfections. I have already engaged my promise to bring you, where you shall hear him confirm much more. Ned Noel is the man, sister. There's no exception against the party. You are ripe for a husband, and a minute's loss to such all occasions is a great trespass in a wise beauty. What say you, sister? On my soul, he loves you. Will you give him the meeting?
Faith, I had very little confidence in mine own constancy, brother, if I durst not meet a man. But this motion of yours savours of an old knight-adventurer's servant a little too much, methinks.
What's that, sister?
Marry, of the squire.
No matter if it did, I would be such an one for my friend. But see, who is returned to hinder us?
Re-enter Kitely.
What villainy is this? Called out on a false message. This was some plot. I was not sent for. Bridget, where is your sister?
I think she be gone forth, sir.
How is my wife gone forth? Whither, for God's sake?
She's gone abroad with Thomas.
Abroad with Thomas? Oh, that villain daws me. Beast that I was, to trust him. Whither, I pray you, went she?
I know not, sir.
I'll tell you, brother, whither I suspect she's gone.
Whither, good brother?
To Cobb's house, I believe, but keep my counsel.
I will, to Cobb's house. Does she haunt Cobb's? She's gone a purpose now to cuckold me with that lewd rascal, who, to win her favour, hath told her all.
Exit.
Come, he is once more gone, sister. Let's lose no time. The affair is worth it.
Exeunt. Scene 7. A street. Enter Matthew and Bobadil.
I wonder, Captain, what they will say of my going away, huh?
Why, what should they say but as of a discreet gentleman, quick, wary, respectful of nature's fair lineaments, and that's all.
Why so? But what can they say of your beating?
A rude part, a touch with soft wood, a kind of gross battery used, laid on strongly, borne most patiently, and that's all.
Aye, but would any man have offered it in Venice, as you say?
Tut, I assure you no. You shall have there your nobilis, your gentilizza, come in bravely upon your reverse, stand you close, stand you firm, stand you fair, save your retricato with his left leg, come to the assaulter with the right, thrust with brave steel, defy your base wood. But wherefore do I awake this remembrance? I was fascinated by Jupiter, fascinated, but I will be unwitched and revenged by law.
Do you hear? Is it not best to get a warrant and have him arrested and brought before Justice Clement?
It were not amiss, would we had it.
Enter Brainworm disguised as formal.
Why, here comes his man. Let's speak to him.
Agreed. Do you speak?
Save you, sir.
With all my heart, sir.
Sir, there is one downright hath abused this man and myself, and we determined to make our amends by law. Now, if you would do us the favour to procure a warrant to bring him afore your master, you shall be well considered, I assure you, sir.
Sir, you know my service is my living. Such favours as these gotten of my master is his only preferment, and therefore you must consider me, as I may make benefit of my place.
How is that, sir?
Faith, sir, the thing is extraordinary, and the gentleman may be of great account. Yet, be he what he will, if you will lay me down a brace of angels in my hand, you shall have it, otherwise not.
How shall we do, Captain? He asks a brace of angels. You have no money?
Not a cross, my fortune.
Nor I, as I am a gentleman. But 2 pence left from my 2 shillings in the morning for wine and radish. Let's find him some pawn.
Pawn? We have none to the value of his demand.
Oh, yes, I'll pawn this jewel in my ear. And you may pawn your silk stockings, and pull up your boots. They will never be missed. It must be done now.
Well, and there be no remedy, I'll step aside and pull them off.
Withdraws.
Do you hear, sir? We have no store of money this time, but you shall have good pawns. Look you, sir, this jewel and that gentleman's silk stockings, because we would have it dispatched ere we went to our chambers.
I am content, sir. I will get you the what's his name, say you? Downright?
Aye, aye, George Downright.
What manner of man is he?
A tall, big man, sir. He goes in a cloak, most commonly of silk russet, laid about with russet lace.
'Tis very good, sir.
Here, sir, here's my jewel.
Bobadil, returning.
And here are my stockings.
Well, gentlemen, I'll procure you this warrant presently. But who will you have to serve it?
That's true, Captain. That must be considered.
Body o' me, I know not. 'Tis service of danger.
Why, you are best to get one o' the varlets of the city, a sergeant. I'll appoint you one, if you please.
Will you, sir? Why, we can wish no better.
We'll leave it to you, sir.
Exeunt Bobadil and Matthew.
This is rare. Now will I go and pawn this cloak of the justice's man at the broker's for a varlet suit, and be the varlet myself? and get either more pawns or more money of downrights for the arrest?
Exit. Scene 8. The lane before Cobb's house. Enter Novell.
Oh, here it is. I am glad I have found it now. Oh, who is within there?
Tib, within.
I am within, sir. What's your pleasure?
To know who is within beside yourself.
Why, sir, you are no constable, I hope.
Oh, fear you the constable? Then I doubt not you have some guests within deserve that fear. I'll fetch him straight.
Enter Tib.
Oh, God's name, sir.
Go to. Come tell me, is not young Noel here?
Young Noel? I know none such, sir, on mine honesty.
Your honesty, dame, it flies too lightly from you. There is no way but fetch the constable.
The constable? The man is mad, I think.
Exit and claps to the door. Enter Dame Kylie and Cash.
Oh, who keeps house here?
Oh, this is the female cop's mate of my son. Now shall I meet him straight.
Knock, Thomas, hard.
Oh, good wife.
Re-enter Tib.
Why, what's the matter with you?
Why, woman, grieves it you to ope your door? Belike you get something to keep it shut.
What mean these questions, pray ye?
So strange you make it. Is not my husband here?
Her husband?
My tried husband, Master Kitely.
I hope he needs not to be tried here.
No, dame, he does it not for need, but pleasure.
Neither for need nor pleasure is he here.
This is but a device to balk me withal.
Enter Kylie muffled in his cloak.
Soft, who is this? 'Tis not my son disguised?
Dame Kylie spies her husband and runs to him.
Oh, sir, have I forestalled your honest market, found your close walks? You stand amazed now, do you? I'faith, I am glad I have smoked you yet at last. Where is your jewel, trow? In, come, let's see her. Fetch forth your housewife, dame. If she be fairer in any honest judgment than myself, I'll be content with it. But she is change, she feeds you fat, she soothes your appetite, and you are well. Your wife, an honest woman, is meat twice sod to you, sir. Oh, you treacher!
She cannot counterfeit thus palpably.
Out on thy more than strumpet impudence! Steal'st thou thus to thy haunts, and have I taken thy bawd and thee and thy companion, this hoary-headed lecher, this old goat, close at your villainy, and wouldst thou excuse it with this stale harlot's jest accusing me? Oh, old incontent!
To Novell.
Dost thou not shame when all thy powers in chastity are spent to have a mind so hot and to entice and feed the enticements of a lustful woman?
Out! I defy thee, I dissembling wretch!
Defy me, strumpet! Ask thy pander here. Can he deny it, or that wicked elder?
Why, hear you, sir.
Tut, 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 never speak. Thy guilty conscience will discover thee.
What lunacy is this that haunts this man?
Well, good wife, Bod, Cobb's wife, and you, that make your husband such a hoddy-doddy, and you, young apple squire and old cuckold maker, I'll have you every one before a justice. Nay, you shall answer it. I charge you go.
Marry, with all my heart, sir, I go willingly, though I do taste this as a trick put on me to punish my impertinent search, and justly, and have forgive my son for the device.
Come, will you go?
Go? To thy shame believe it.
Enter Cobb.
Why, what's the matter here? What's here to do?
Oh, Cobb, art thou come? I have been abused, and in thy house. Was never man so wronged.
Sit. In my house, my master Kitely? Who wrongs you in my house?
Marry, young lust in old, and old in young here, thy wife's the bawd. Here have I taken them.
How? What? Is my house come to that? Am I preferred thither? Did I not charge you to keep your doors shut, Isabel? And you let them lie open for all comers?
Beats his wife.
Friend, know some cause before thou beatest thy wife. This is madness in thee.
Why, is there no cause?
Yes, I'll show cause before the justice, Cobb. Come, let her go with me.
Nay, she shall go.
Nay, I will go. I'll see, and you may be allowed to make a bundle of hemp of your right and lawful wife thus, at every cuckoldy knave's pleasure. Why do you not go?
Bitter Queen, come, we will have you tamed.
Exeunt. Scene 9. A street, and a brainworm disguised as a city sergeant.
Well, of all my disguises yet, now I am most like myself, being in the sergeant's gown. A man in my present profession never counterfeits, until he lays hold of a debtor, and says he rests him, for then he brings him to all manner of unrest. A kind of little kings we are, bearing the diminutive of a mace, made like a young artichoke, that always carries pepper and salt in itself. Well, I know not what danger I undergo by this exploit. Pray heaven I will come well off.
Enter Matthew and Bobadil.
See, I think yonder is the varlet by his gown.
Let's go in quest of him.
Save you, friend. Are not you here by appointment of Justice Clement's man?
Yes, and to please you, sir. He told me 2 gentlemen had willed him to procure a warrant from his master, which I have about me to be served on one downright.
It is honestly done of you both, and see where the party comes you must arrest. Serve it upon him quickly, afore he be aware.
Bear back, Master Matthew.
Enter Stephen in Downright's cloak.
Master Downright, I arrest you in the Queen's name, and must carry you afore a justice by virtue of this warrant.
Me, friend? I am no downright I am Master Stephen. You do not well to arrest me, I tell you truly. I am in nobody's bonds nor books. I would you should know it. A plague on you heartily, for making me thus afraid afore my time.
Why, now you are deceived, gentlemen.
He wears such a cloak, and that deceived us. But see, here it comes indeed. This is he, officer.
Enter Downright.
Why, how now, Signor Gull? Are you turned future of late? Come, deliver my cloak.
Your cloak, sir? I bought it even now in open market.
Master Downright, I have a warrant I must serve upon you, procured by these 2 gentlemen.
These gentlemen? These rascals?
Offers to beat them.
Keep the peace. I charge you in Her Majesty's name.
I obey thee. What must I do, officer?
Go before Master Justice Clement, to answer that they can object against you, sir. I will use you kindly, sir.
Come, let's before, and make the justice, Captain.
The varlet's a tall man, afore heaven.
Exeunt Bobadil and Matthew.
Gull, you give me my cloak.
Sir, I bought it, and I'll keep it.
You will?
Aye, that I will.
Officer, there's thy fee. Arrest him.
Master Stephen, I must arrest you.
Arrest me? I scorn it. There, take your cloak. On and on't.
Nay, that shall not serve your turn now, sir. Officer, I'll go along with thee to the justices. Bring him along.
Why, is this not here your cloak? What would you have?
I'll have you answer it, sir.
Sir, I'll take your word, and this gentleman's too, for his appearance.
I'll have no words taken. Bring him along.
Sir, I may choose to do that. I may take bail.
'Tis true. You may take bail, and choose at another time. But you shall not now, varlet. Bring him along, or I'll swinge you.
Sir, I pity the gentleman's case. Here's your money again.
Staines, tell me not of my money. Bring him away, I say.
I warrant you he will go with you of himself, sir.
Yet more ado.
Brainworm, aside.
I made him a fair mash on't.
Must I go?
I know no remedy, Master Stephen.
Come along afore me here. I do not love your hanging look behind.
Why, sir, I hope you cannot hang me for it. Can he, fellow?
I think not, sir. It is but a whipping matter, sure.
Exeunt. End of Act 4. Act 5 of Every Man in His Humour by Ben Jonson. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 5. Scene 1. Coleman Street. A hall in Justice Clement's house. Enter Clement, Noble, Kitely, Dame Kitely, Tib, Cash, Cobb, and servants.
Why then, let him do his worst. I am resolute.
Nay, but stay. Give me leave. My chair, sirrah. You, Master Noel, say you went thither to meet your son?
Ay, sir.
But who directed you thither?
That did mine own man, sir.
Where is he?
Nay, I know not now. I left him with your clerk, and appointed him to stay here for me.
My clerk? About what time was this?
Marry, between 1 and 2, as I take it.
And what time came my man with a false message to you, Master Kitely?
After 2, sir.
Very good. But, Mistress Kitely, how chanced it you were at Cobb's,
And please you, sir, I'll tell you, my brother Well-bred told me that Cobb's house was a suspected place.
So it appears, methinks. But on.
And that my husband used thither daily.
No matter. So he used himself well, mistress.
True, sir, but you know what grows by such haunts oftentimes.
I see rank fruits of a jealous brain, Mistress Kitely. But did you find your husband there? In that case, as you suspected?
I found her there, sir.
Did you so? That alters the case. Who gave you knowledge of your wife's being there?
Marry, that did my brother Well-bred.
How? Well-bred first tell her, then tell you after. Where is Well-bred?
Gone with my sister, sir, I know not whither.
Why, this is a mere trick, a device. You are gulled in this most grossly all. Alas, poor wench, wert thou beaten for this?
Yell, most pitifully, and please you.
And worthily, I hope, if it shall prove so.
Ay, that's like, in a piece of a sentence.
Enter a servant.
How now, sir, what's the matter?
Sir, there's a gentleman in the court without, desires to speak with your worship.
A gentleman? What is he?
A soldier, sir, he says.
A soldier? Take down my armor, my sword, quickly. A soldier speak with me? Why, when, knaves? Come on.
Arms himself.
Hold my cap there. So, give me my gorget, my sword. Stand by. I will end your matters anon. Let the soldier enter.
Exit servant. Enter Bobadil, followed by Matthew.
Now, sir, what have you to say to me?
By your worship's favour.
Nay, keep out, sir. I know not your pretence. You send me word, sir, you're a soldier. Why, sir, you shall be answered here. Here be them that have been amongst soldiers. Sir, your pleasure.
Faith, sir, so it is. This gentleman and myself have been most uncivilly wronged and beaten by one downright, a coarse fellow, about the town here, and for mine own part I protest, being a man in no sort given to this filthy humour of quarrelling, he hath assaulted me in the way of my peace, despoiled me of mine honour, disarmed me of my weapons, and rudely laid me along in the open streets, when I not so much as once offered to resist him.
Oh, God's precious! Is this the soldier? Here, take my armor off quickly. 'Twill make him swoon, I fear. He is not fit to look on. That will put up a blow.
An it please your worship, he was bound to the peace.
Why, and he was, sir. His hands were not bound, were they?
Re-enter servant.
There's one of the varlets of the city, sir, has brought 2 gentlemen here, one upon your worship's warrant.
My warrant?
Yes, sir. The officer says, procured by these 2.
Bid him come in.
Exit servant.
Set by this picture.
Enter Downright, Stephen, and Brainworm, disguised as before.
What, Master Downright? Are you brought in at Mr. Freshwater's suit here?
"I' faith, sir, and here's another brought at my suit."
What are you, sir?
A gentleman, sir. Oh, uncle.
Uncle? Who? Master Noel?
Aye, sir. This is a wise kinsman of mine.
God's my witness, uncle. I am wronged here monstrously. He charges me with stealing of his cloak, and would I might never stir if I did not find it in the street by chance.
"Oh, did you find it now? You said you bought it erstwhile."
And you said I stole it. Nay, now my uncle is here, I'll do well enough with you.
Well, let this breathe a while. You that have cause to complain there, stand forth. Had you my warrant for this gentleman's apprehension?
Ay, and please your worship.
Nay, do not speak in passion so. Where had you it?
Of your clerk, sir.
That's well. And my clerk can make warrants, and my hand not at them. Where's the warrant, officer? Have you it?
No, sir. Your worship's man, Master Formal, bid me do it for these gentlemen, and he would be at my discharge.
Why, Master Downright, are you such a novice to be served and never see the warrant?
"Sir, he did not serve it on me."
No? How then?
"Marry, sir, he came to me, and said he must serve it, and he would use me kindly, and so—"
Oh, God's pity, was it so, sir? He must serve it. Give me my long sword there, and help me off. So, come on, Sir Varlet. I must cut off your legs, sirrah.
Brainworm kneels.
Nay, stand up. I'll use you kindly. I must cut off your legs, I say.
Flourishes over him with his long sword.
Oh, good sir, I beseech you. Nay, good Master Justice.
I must do it. There's no remedy. I must cut off your legs, sirrah. I must cut off your ears, you rascal. I must do it. I must cut off your nose. I must cut off your head.
Oh, good, your worship.
Well, Rise, how dost thou do now? Dost thou feel thyself well? Hast thou no harm?
No, I thank your good worship, sir.
Why so? I said I must cut off thy legs, and I must cut off thy arms, and I must cut off thy head. But I did not do it. So you said you must serve this gentleman with my warrant. But you did not serve him. You knave, you slave, you rogue. Do you say you must, sirrah? Away with him to the jail. I'll teach you a trick for your must, sir.
Good sir, I beseech you, be good to me.
Tell him he shall to the jail. Away with him, I say.
Nay, sir, if you will commit me, it shall be for committing more than this. I will not lose by my travail any grain of my fame, certain.
Throws off his sergeant's gown.
How is this?
My man Brainworm.
Oh, yes, uncle. Brainworm has been with my cousin Edward and I all this day.
I told you all there was some device.
Nay, excellent justice, since I have lain myself thus open to you, now stand strong for me, both with your sword and your balance.
Body o' me, a merry knave. Give me a bowl of sack. If he belong to you, Master Noel, I bespeak your patience.
That it is I have most need of, sir. If you'll pardon me only, I'll glory in all the rest of my exploits.
Sir, you know I love not to have my favours come hard from me. You have your pardon, though I suspect you, shrewdly, for being of counsel with my son against me.
Yes, faith I have, sir, though you have retained me doubly this morning for yourself, first as Brainworm, after as Fitzward. I was your reformed soldier, sir. 'Twas I sent you to Cobb's upon the errand without end.
Is it possible? Or that thou shouldst disguise thy language so as I should not know thee?
O sir, this has been the day of my metamorphosis. It is not that ship alone that I have run through today. I brought this gentleman, Master Kitely, a message too, in the form of Master Justice's man here, to draw him out o' the way, as well as your worship, while Master Wellbred might make a conveyance of Mistress Bridget to my young master.
How? My sister stolen away?
My son is not married, I hope.
Faith, sir, they're both as sure as love, a priest, and 3,000 pounds, which is her portion, can make them, and by this time are ready to bespeak their wedding supper at the windmill, except some friend here prevents them, and invite them home.
Marry, that will I. I thank thee for putting me in mind on't. Sirrah, go you and fetch them hither upon my warrant.
Exit servant.
Neither's friends have cause to be sorry if I know the young couple all right. Here, I drink to thee for thy good news, but I pray thee, what hast thou done with my man Formal?
Faith, sir, after some ceremony past, as making him drunk, first with story, and then with wine, but all in kindness. And stripping him to his shirt, I left him in that cool vein, departed, sold your worship's warrant to these two, pawned his livery for that varlet's gown to serve in it, and thus having brought myself by my activity to your worship's consideration.
And I will consider thee in another cup of sack. Here's to thee, which having drunk off this my sentence, pledge me, thou hast done or assisted to nothing in my judgment, but deserves to be pardoned for the wit of the offence. If thy master or any man here be angry with thee, I shall suspect his engine, while I know him for't. How now? What noise is that?
Enter servant.
Sir, it is Roger is come home.
Bring him in, bring him in.
Enter Formal in a suit of armor.
What? Drunk? In arms against me? Your reason for this.
I beseech your worship to pardon me. I happened into ill company by chance. They cast me into a sleep and stripped me of all my clothes.
Well, tell him I am just as clement, and do pardon him. But what is this to your armour? What may that signify?
And please you, sir, it hung up in the room where I was stripped, and I borrowed it of one of the drawers to come home in, because I was loath to do penance through the street in my shirt.
Well, stand by a while.
Enter Edward Noble, Wellbred, and Bridget.
Who be these? Oh, the young company. Welcome, welcome. Give you joy. Nay, Mistress Bridget, blush not. You are not so fresh a bride, but the news of it is come hither afore you. Master bridegroom, I have made your peace. Give me your hand. So will I for all the rest, ere you forsake my roof.
We are the more bound to your humanity, sir.
Only these two have so little of man in them. They are no part of my care.
Yes, sir, let me pray you for this gentleman. He belongs to my sister the bride.
In what place, sir?
Of her delight, sir, below the stairs and in public. Her poet, sir.
A poet? I will challenge him myself presently at extempore. Mount up thy phlegon, muse, and testify how Saturn, sitting in an ebon cloud, disrobed his pottocks, white as ivory, and through the welkin thundered all aloud.
He is not for extempore, sir. He is all for the pocket muse. Please you, command a sight of it.
Yes, search him for a taste of his vein.
They search Matthew's pockets.
You must not deny the Queen's justice, sir, under a writ of rebellion.
What? All this verse? Body o' me, he carries a whole realm, a commonwealth of paper in his hose. Let us see some of his subjects.
Reads.
Unto the boundless ocean of thy face runs this poor river, charged with streams of eyes. How? This is stolen.
A parody, A parody, with a kind of miraculous gift to make it absurder than it was.
Is all the rest of this batch? Bring me a torch. Lay it together and give fire. Cleanse the air.
Sets the papers on fire.
Here was enough to have infected the whole city if it had not been taken in time. See how our poet's glory shines, brighter and brighter. Still it increases. Oh, now it is at the highest, and now it declines as fast. You may see, sic transit gloria mundi.
There's an emblem for you, son, and your studies.
Nay, no speech or act of mine be drawn against such as profess it worthily. They are not born every year as an alderman. There goes more to the making of a good poet than a sheriff. Master Kitely, you look upon me. Though I live in this city here amongst you, I will do more reverence to him when I meet him than I will do to the mayor out of his year. But these paper peddlers, these ink dabblers, they cannot expect reprehension or reproach. They have it with a fact.
Sir, you have saved me the labour of a defence.
It shall be discourse for supper between your father and me, if he dare undertake me. But to dispatch away these, you sign o'er the soldier in picture of the poet. But both so false, I will not have you hanged out at my door till midnight. While we are at supper, you two shall penitently fast it out in my court without. And, if you will, you may pray there that we may be so merry within as to forgive or forget you when we come out. Here's the third, because we tender your safety, shall watch you. He is provided for the purpose. Look to your charge, sir.
And what shall I do?
Ho! I had lost a sheep, and he had not bleated. Why, sir, you shall give Master Downright his cloak, and I will entreat him to take it. A trencher and a napkin you shall have in the buttery, and keep Cobb and his wife company here, whom I will entreat first to be reconciled, and you to endeavour with your wit to keep them so.
I'll do my best.
Why, now I see thou art honest, Tib, I receive thee as my dear and mortal wife again.
And I you, as my loving and obedient husband.
Good compliment. It will be their bridal night, too. They are married anew. Come, I conjure the rest to put off all discontent. You, Master Downright, your anger. You, Master Noel, your cares. Master Kitely and his wife, their jealousy. For I must tell you both, while that is fed, horns in the mind are worse than on the head.
So thus they go from me. Kiss me, sweetheart. See what a drove of horns fly in the air, winged with my cleansed and my credulous breath. Watch 'em, suspicious eyes, watch where they fall. See, on heads that think they have none at all. Oh, what a plenteous world of this will come, when air rains horns, all may be sure of some. I have learned so much verse out of a jealous man's part in a play.
'Tis well, 'tis well. This night we'll dedicate to friendship, love, and laughter. Master Bridegroom, take your bride in lead. Every one a fellow. Here's my mistress, Brainworm, to whom all my addresses of courtship shall have their reference, whose adventures this day, when our grandchildren shall hear to be made a fable, I doubt not but it shall find both spectators and applause.
Exeunt. End of Act 5. End of Every Man in His Humour by Ben Jonson.